Call to order the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, July 28th. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Certainly. Supervisor Kennedy will be absent today. Supervisor Desmond?
Here.
Thank you, sir. Supervisor Hume?
Here.
Supervisor Cerna?
Here.
And Chair Rodriguez.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, would the clerk please read the Metro statement?
Certainly. This meeting of the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors is live and recorded with closed captioning. It is cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV UVerse cable systems. It is also live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Friday, July 31st at 6 o'clock p.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/MetroCable14. The Board of Supervisors fosters public engagement during the meeting and encourages public participation, civility, and the use of courteous language. The Board does not condone the use of profanity, vulgar language, gestures, or other inappropriate behavior, including personal attacks or threats directed towards any meeting participant. Seating is limited and available on a first-come, first-served basis. Each speaker will be given 2 minutes to make a public comment and are limited to making one comment per off-agenda item. Please be mindful of the public comment procedures to avoid being interrupted while making your comment. Comments made by the public during Board of Supervisors meetings may include information that could be inaccurate or misleading, particularly concerning topics related to public health, voter registrations, and elections. The County of Sacramento does not endorse or validate the accuracy of public statements made during these open public forums. The recordings are shared to provide transparency and access to the proceedings of public meetings. To make a comment, please fill out a speaker request form and hand it to clerk staff, or raise your virtual hand when we are on your item. The chair will open public comment for each off-agenda item and direct the clerk to call the name of each speaker. When the clerk calls your name, please come to the podium or unmute yourself and make your comment. If a speaker is unavailable to make a comment prior to the closing of public comments, the speaker waives their request to speak, and the clerk will file the speaker request form in the record. The clerk will manage the timer and allow each speaker 2 minutes to make a comment. Off-agenda public comments will take place for a maximum of 30 minutes. The remainder of the agenda comments will take place at the conclusion of timed matters in the afternoon. As a reminder, Rule of Procedure 10B allows the chair to establish uniform time limits for people addressing the board in relation to a particular matter. Such limits may be announced at the beginning of each matter posted on the agenda and can include setting a specific amount of time devoted to public comment for a particular item, announcing cutoff times for receipt of request to speak forms, reducing the amount of time per speaker, or other reasonable and content-neutral measures. You may send written comments by email to boardclerk@saccounty.gov. Your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the record. If you need an accommodation pursuant to the Americans with Disabilities Act or for medical or other reasons, please see clerk staff for assistance or contact clerk office at 916-874-5451 or by email at boardclerk@saccounty.gov. Thank you in advance for your courtesy and understanding of the meeting procedures.
Thank you. Let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, are there any announcements?
Yes. As previously mentioned, Supervisor Kennedy will be absent today, and also Supervisor Desmond will be participating remotely, and he does have something he does need to tell the audience.
Okay.
Thank you, Todd. And yes, please, Madam Chair, just real quick, I will be participating remotely under the Physical Emergency Just Cause teleconferencing rules of the Brown Act due to a recent accident that prevents me from attending in person, and I am alone in the room where I'm attending. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And also, I will note that item 38 on our agenda today is listed as continued to August 25th. We do not need to vote on that as it's published on our agenda thusly. And those are all the announcements I have.
Thank you. All right, let us start with the first item.
All right. Item number 1 on our agenda today is the Bark of Supervisors Adoptable Pet Update.
Good morning, Annette.
Good morning. Annette Bedsworth with Sacramento County Animal Care Services. Today we have Jessica, who is trying to angle Roxy to be on camera. Today we have Roxy. She is a female. We're not quite sure of what her breed is. We assume that she's part German Shepherd, part Terrier. She has been with us for a couple months. She's an unusual dog because she has been under our medical care. She came to us stray and she had no fur. She lost her fur, so she needed some medical treatment. She's completely healed, and now she's available for adoption today. She's already been spayed, completely vaccinated, and microchipped. She has learned some tricks, as Supervisor Rodriguez was teaching her earlier, but she knows how to sit. She knows how to obey commands. And she's part of our Barks and Recreation program, too. If you're not interested in adopting her, you can take her out for a day. Or if you are interested in adopting, you can take her out for a day and then decide to adopt. Say hello. She's the star of the show.
Roxy
Everybody
is
likes
precious.
dogs.
And she
is
shakes
fully
your
grown.
hand.
She's 2 years old, so she's not going to get any bigger. She's a medium-sized dog.
Well, I did catch wind at the last meeting that Supervisor Cerna is interested in maybe.
Yes, she does.
Adopting a dog.
She can walk up to 2 miles a day with Supervisor Cerna if he's interested. Or you can,
More walking than that.
you could take her out for a Barks and Recreation and use our Parks Pass and take her through the parks. But she is available for adoption. Please check our website. We do have a lot of animals that are available. It is cat season. So Sacramento County Animal Services services approximately 7,000 cats annually, and we are feeling that number right now. We are full of cats, so if anybody's interested in a cat, please come and adopt. We are adopting them out right now, 2 for $35, and they do come vaccinated, spayed, neutered. I don't bring cats to the boardroom because they just don't travel quite well. They'd be climbing all over the place.
Yeah.
But please, if you're interested in adopting, think about Sacramento County Animal Care Services first. I have 2 updates for you that I'd like to share. One is Animal Services doesn't have a lot of boards or programs that we can get recognized. So we have been nominated for Sacramento County or Sacramento Favorites. So please vote for us. We've been nominated in the category of Best Place to Volunteer, Best Place to Work, Best Customer Service, and our nonprofit team was also nominated. So please vote for us. Because we need the votes. We want to be recognized as the best place to work and providing good customer service to everybody here and in the regional shelter. We say we are the best shelter and the shelter of choice. Another update that we implemented yesterday, and I want to thank my department head, Tim Lutz, because I benchmarked off him. He does these Tim Talks, as he calls them, for his staff. It's like a video. So yesterday we decided to do, it was our PIOs, who I give the credit to, but we have one called now Unleashed with Annette. So we did a 2-minute segment, and I talked about Barks and Recreation and our partnership with Parks and Recreation. So each month we're going to do these talks and educate the public on all the services that we provide at Animal Services.
All right, 2 questions. One, where would somebody go to vote?
It's votesacramento.com.
Votesacramento.com. All right, and then where can we find the video so that we can share it with our
Oh,
constituents?
please follow us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you, Annette, for bringing Roxy, and we look forward to. Sorry, I thought you were telling me you wanted to talk.
Oh, no, sorry.
Well, thank you for bringing Roxy.
Thank you so
and
much.
introducing her. All right. Good luck, Roxy. All right. Next item, please.
Item number 2 on our agenda is the Sacramento County Youth Commission Annual Presentation.
Good morning, Chair Rodriguez, board members, and County Executive David Villanueva, and Executive Leadership Team. My name is Rochelle Rolanca, and I'm the advisor to the Youth Commission. The Youth Commission is bringing forth their annual report, and will be giving the board an update on activities related to racial and economic justice, civic engagement, public health, education, environmental advocacy, and academic stress. I would like to introduce Executive Member Emmanuel Amanfor, Social Media Chair, who is with us today. And currently, I will turn it over to Social Media Chair Amanfor, who would like to say a few opening words and introduce the other commissioners. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair and members of the Board of Supervisors. We're the Sacramento County Youth Commission, and we're excited to share the work we have accomplished over the past year, as well as our goals and upcoming initiatives moving forward. We would like to thank the Board of Supervisors for your continued support of youth leadership and civic engagement throughout the Sacramento County. Your support allows us to continue creating opportunities for young people to advocate for their communities and develop as leaders. Before sharing our work from this past year, we would like to recognize the commissioners who make up the Sacramento County Youth Commission. Our commissioners represent youth from all 5 districts and bring different experiences to our work. We would also like to recognize our current chairperson, Diana Haas, who has helped us guide the commission's work and collaboration throughout the year. While not all commissioners are able to join us today, we would like to recognize the contributions of our entire commission and the work each member has done throughout the year. Our commissioners representing the county's districts are Julianne Hill, me, Emmanuel Owamanfor, Brooklyn Pruitt, Jamie Stevenson, Kushi Shukla, Justin Huang, Ellie Bazowski, Joy McDaniel, and Dylan Yang. Got it. We appreciate the commitment of each commissioner and the time they dedicate towards advocating for youth throughout the Sacramento County.
Good morning.
Good morning. The Sacramento County Youth Commission is a 15-member advisory board that serves as the voice of the youth across the county. The commission provides youth perspectives to the Board of Supervisors, informs county leadership about issues affecting young people, and encourages civic engagement and community leadership among the Sacramento County. One of our main goals this year was to strengthen our presence within the community by building partnerships, increasing outreach, and creating more opportunities for youth to engage with the commission. Through these efforts, we were able to establish new connections with schools, nonprofits, and youth in the community, while continuing to expand the awareness of the Youth Commission's work. These priorities help provide the foundation for the initiatives our subcommittees worked on throughout the year. So now on to the subcommittee introduction. Throughout the year, the commissioners worked through subcommittees focused on specific issues affecting youth throughout the Sacramento County. This year, our commission focused on 6 different areas: racial and economic justice, education, civic engagement, environmental advocacy, public health, and academic stress. So now on to the public health subcommittee. So as a committee, we aim to spread awareness about the importance of physical, emotional, and mental health among the youth throughout Sacramento County. This subcommittee is co-chaired by me, Kushi Shukla, and Jamie Stevenson, and includes Commissioner Mackenzie Olmstead, Diana Haas, and Elle Bazowski. This year, the Public Health Subcommittee focused on exploring ways to make health-related resources and conversations more accessible to students. One initiative we began developing was a day in the life of a Sacramento County Youth Commissioner video series, which highlights how students balance academic extracurricular activities, family responsibilities, and personal wellness. Through social media outreach, we hope to create relatable content that encourages students to prioritize their health while navigating the challenges of everyday life. Moving forward, the Public Health Subcommittee plans to continue expanding youth wellness outreach through social media and educational resources. We hope to share information about maintaining healthy habits during the summer and develop a substance abuse awareness campaign at the beginning of the school year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Rodriguez and Commissioners. The Racial and Economic Justice Subcommittee focuses on addressing disparities affecting youth throughout Sacramento County and exploring ways to create more equitable opportunities for underserved communities. The subcommittee is chaired by Joy McDaniel and includes Commissioners Elle Bazowski and myself. This year, the Racial and Economic Justice Subcommittee focused on identifying opportunities to advance equity and better understand the barriers impacting youth and communities throughout the county. The subcommittee explored ways to elevate youth perspectives on issues related to racial and economic equity, while discussing potential opportunities for future advocacy, outreach, as well as community engagement. Moving forward, Moving forward, the subcommittee hopes to continue developing initiatives that promote equity, inclusion, and access to resources through future partnerships and outreach efforts. We hope to continue creating opportunities for youth voices to be represented in conversations about community needs.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The Civic Engagement Subcommittee focuses on encouraging youth participation in local government and increasing civic awareness throughout Sacramento County. The subcommittee is co-chaired by Brooklyn Pruitt and Jamie Stephenson and includes Commissioners Emmanuel O. Amanfor, Diana Haas, Justin Hine, and Mackenzie Olmstead. This year, the Civic Engagement Subcommittee focused on exploring ways to increase youth involvement in civic spaces and make local government more accessible to students. The subcommittee discussed opportunities to encourage youth participation, increase awareness of local issues, and help students better understand how they can become more involved in communities. Moving forward, the Civic Engagement Subcommittee hopes to develop more opportunities for youth to engage with local government, build partnerships with community organizations, and create resources that encourage students to become more informed and active participants in civic life.
Okay. The Education Subcommittee focuses on bringing awareness to the educational disparities throughout the Sacramento County and increasing access to educational resources for youth. The subcommittee is co-chaired by Mackenzie Olmstead and Diana Haas and includes Commissioners Justin Huang, Dylan Yang, Brooklyn Pruitt, and Kushi Shukla. This year, the Education Subcommittee focused on developing the Backpack Outreach Initiative, which was created with the goal of connecting students and families with important educational resources. As part of this initiative, the subcommittee developed outreach materials, including informational flyers and brochures, while exploring different ways to effectively connect communities. Throughout the planning process, the subcommittee reviewed and considered ways to ensure future outreach efforts that are both effective and aligned with county guidelines. Moving forward, the Education Subcommittee hopes to continue refining the Backpack Outreach Initiative and explore additional opportunities to connect students with educational resources. We hope to create programs that help address educational disparities and support students throughout the Sacramento County.
This year, the Sacramento County Youth Commission introduced the Academic Stress Subcommittee to address the growing impact that academic pressure can have on youth mental health and overall well-being. The Academic Stress Subcommittee focuses on bridging the gap between academic pressure and youth mental health through awareness, advocacy, and access to resources. The subcommittee is chaired by Joy McDaniel and includes Commissioners myself, El Bazowski, and Dylan Yang. This year, the subcommittee began developing the Academic Stress Initiative, which focuses on increasing awareness around student wellness and identifying ways to provide additional support for youth. The subcommittee also began planning a student wellness event by researching potential venues, exploring school outreach opportunities, and discussing possible partnerships with community organizations. Moving forward, the Academic Stress Subcommittee plans to continue building these initiatives by strengthening partnerships with schools, student leaders, and community organizations. Our goal is to expand access to stress management resources and create supportive spaces where students can prioritize their well-being.
And last but not least, the Environmental Advocacy Subcommittee focuses on spreading awareness about climate change and promoting sustainable habits and creating opportunities for youth to participate in environmental action. The subcommittee is co-chaired by Diana Haas, Brooklyn Pruitt, and includes Commissioners me, Emmanuel O. Amanfor, Jamie Stevenson, Justin Huang, and Mackenzie Olmstead. This year, the Environmental Advocacy Subcommittee focused on expanding youth involvement throughout the community outreach and through community outreach and collaboration with local organizations. These efforts help strengthen partnerships while encouraging students to take an active role in environmental stewardship. Moving forward, the Environmental Advocacy Subcommittee hopes to continue expanding youth-led environment projects and creating more opportunities for students to participate in sustainability efforts.
Beyond our subcommittee work, commissioners also continued representing the Youth Commission through individual involvement and community service opportunities throughout Sacramento County. One of our major highlights this year was our environmental advocacy subcommittee tree planting event at Woodside K-8. Through this event, we were able to bring nearly 30 volunteers to plant 10 trees and support a more sustainable community. This event demonstrated the impact of youth-led service and the importance of creating opportunities where young people can take direct action on issues that affect their communities. Commissioners also participated in community events such as Bella Vista High School's Day of Service, where we connected with students and encouraged youth involvement in service and advocacy. These experiences allowed us to continue building partnerships, expanding our outreach, and showing how youth can contribute to meaningful change throughout Sacramento County. As we look back on this past year, we are proud of the progress we have made in strengthening our commission, development, new initiatives, and creating opportunities for youth involvement. We are excited to continue building on this foundation and expanding our impact throughout Sacramento County.
Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for taking the time to hear about our work and goals that we have moving forward. We appreciate your continued support from the Board of Supervisors and the opportunity to represent Sacramento County youth. We look forward to continuing our collaboration and creating new opportunities for young people across the country. Thank you. Are there any questions?
I do. I have a couple of questions. First, I want to say thank you for the presentation. You all did a really great job representing what you do for the county. So many of you represent a very, very tiny number of schools. How do you communicate to other schools in the county on some of the efforts that you all are taking?
Every single month, we would have our own board meetings in which we would plan these events, such as the Big Day of Service or our plans on building free little libraries at different districts as well as parks. So these meetings, as well as messages, of course, responding to the Brown Act, to plan all these events out, as well as communicate throughout all these different schools and districts to plan these events.
Okay. And then I have a question about the student wellness support. Do you tap into the services that the county offers, or do you go through your schools for health wellness, mental health wellness?
I'm not in the academic health subcommittee. I'll pass it on to.
And if you don't know, that's okay.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so, student wellness is very important. And so do you all, are some of your recommendations to other students in the schools, do you tap into the resources from the county, or do you go through your school education programs?
A lot of us mostly do go through our school education programs. We try to do our best to reach out to the schools that mostly we do attend, or the schools that we've communicated to in the past, and try to get most information that they have so that we can, develop and grow from there.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you my personal observation. One of the voices that oftentimes are not heard in many of the issues that we have here at the county is the youth, the voice of the youth. And so I know that it's during school on a Tuesday, September through June, that you're not able to attend the board meetings, but there are options to email in your some feedback you may have, or some recommendations, or just some of your thoughts on some items, and that is one way to keep your youth engaged. And then the last question I have is, how can we help you? What do you need from us to enhance your program or expand it?
Something.
And this is a question to any one of you can answer, but you can answer.
Okay. Something that we do appreciate some of the help that you do guide us with now. We would like some more type of promotion so that we can be able to have more of an outreach and be able to be more spread, especially through the schools, even though we do keep in contact with the schools and, we try to have that consistent connections with them. It doesn't really follow through as much as we hope. Mm-hmm. So we would really appreciate if there'd be more outreach or more advertisement for us as a whole.
Okay. All right. Supervisor Hume?
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I want to just congratulate all of you on the excellent job you did presenting your areas of interest as well as the work of the Commission generally, and it certainly inspired me. I got to get on the ball and get some District 5 representatives there to help you all out in your work there. I noticed that that was the only district not listed, so thank you for lighting that fire under me. Rochelle, thank you for your introduction and the good work that you do as our staff liaison to this Commission. We appreciate that. And then I just want to kind of follow up on what the chair was asking relative to getting the message out and mental well-being, particularly for Manuel and Elle. I just had a meeting the other day with a group. It's a program funded by the state. It's a completely free app. It's called Soluna, S-O-Luna, L-U-N-A, and it offers resources to connect to mental health professionals. It offers peer-to-peer moderated forums, and the only requirement is that you're within a certain age and that you know how to use an app, that you have a smartphone. So it's a great resource, I think, as was mentioned by the chair, to connect you to services in your own way, in your own time, and I think it was just a program worth sharing. So I told them they should reach out to you all and come do a presentation, because I think it'd be worth your time to know. So thank you.
Supervisor Serna.
Thank you. So I'll go ahead and pile on. And first of all, congratulate you on a job well done on the presentation and all the great work that you've committed to and all the time and energy you've put into your various initiatives. I wanted to ask a specific question about whether or not, and I don't know if it falls into one of the categories that you've set up this subcommittee structure around, but one thing that's very important to me is understanding how your demographic, young people that are still in school, are getting prepared to be active and participatory voters. So I don't know who is best to respond to this, but maybe one or more of you want to come to the podium. But I'd be very interested to understand how you're kind of teeing up yourselves for that next level of maturity and adulthood, and at age 18, at least for the time being prepared to vote or participate very directly via voting. So who wants to take that one?
For your question. So coming into the new school year is coming up, we would like, coming from your question, we would like to just create more advertisement about how important it is to vote and how our voice can be heard. I feel like in the youth, especially now, a lot of people believe that their vote just doesn't matter really, and I think that's a big emphasis we can put on why your vote does matter, and that may push the voters and like the young adults into voting more when they realize that when they do vote, they can actually make a difference in the community.
Great, thank you for the response. Maybe one thing to consider moving forward is considering inviting, or at least thinking about how our registrar of voters could perhaps more closely interact with our youth commission and really kind of provide some access to resources and education about what it means to be a voting participant of our community, and maybe also share with you some of the more nuanced insights about how our voting process works. It's obviously a subject that's been in the news for a number of years now in different respects, but I think it's one of the most important next steps in your young lives in terms of how to be a full-fledged participant in the communities that you live in and that you are being educated in and that you will eventually serve. So again, I want to applaud all the great work that you're doing, but I want to give you some food for thought as well. Thanks.
Thank you so much for your feedback.
Mr. Villanueva.
Thank you, Chair. What a great presentation. just wanted to follow up on a couple of things. One, I'll follow up with Rachel and see if we can connect the Youth Commission with SCOE, and maybe they can help with the Sacramento County Office of Education to see if they can help get the word out countywide. So that might be able to be some areas of assistance for them. And then also, of course, they can use your social media and your ability to outreach. And then on the voter registration, I know you can register before you're 18. You can kind of pre-register, so there's a lot of opportunities. Historically, I've always seen the election on this, so maybe it's just an off year, but Hang would be more than happy to, the voter registrar would be more than happy to partner with these folks. And you know, Hang, the more people we can get to vote, the better off the county is. So she'd be more than happy to help with that. So thank you.
I just want to leave you, because Supervisor Cerna brought up a really good point. If you look at the statistics of voters for young people, it's very low. And so he brings up a really good opportunity for you to communicate that to upcoming potential voters. All right, well, thank you very much for the presentation. I look forward to your next year's presentation. Next item, please.
The next item on our agenda are public comments relating to matters not on the posted agenda. At the moment, we have no in-person speakers signed up to talk. Anyone online who would like to address the supervisors for public comments on matters not posted to the agenda, please raise your virtual hands now. And first up, I do see Scott Rafferty. Scott, go ahead and unmute yourself, and you have 2 minutes to address the supervisors.
Good morning, Scott.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
My name is Scott Rafferty. I ask today that you place at the top of your legislative program support for the California Voting Rights Act of 2026. This law will guarantee timely and effective remedies for the suppression and dilution of minority voters, which is a continuing concern across our state, but especially in Sacramento County. When voters demanded district elections, Folsom didn't deny liability. They condemned the law. They announced, "We can make adjustments," and I quote, "so that we can retain the current council. The voters want us to keep our seats. We've already been elected." The demographer said the first priority was to save council members, except for the only Asian member ever elected and the council's only Democrat who had served 22 years. They were gerrymandered out. This can never happen again. For 6 years, Folsom's incumbents have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money to delay a day in court. SB 1164 guarantees that this will never again happen. It requires an effective hearing and an effective remedy before the next election. I urge you to support it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And with that, we have no additional speakers online.
Okay, Mr. Villanueva, did you want to speak? Yeah, awesome. Okay, then next item, please.
All right, next matter on our agenda are the consent items. Those are items 4 through 36, and I have no notes for those items today.
All right, any items to comment, pull, motion? Oh, no, public speakers.
Right. All right, so we have no one signed up to speak for public comments in person on the consent matter. Anyone online who would like to address the supervisors on the consent matters, that is items 4 through 36, now is the time to raise your virtual hand. And we have no online requests to speak.
All right, no questions from the board.
Move consent.
No more. All right.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and we will take a roll call vote.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Cerna?
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond?
Aye.
Vice Chair Hume?
Aye.
And Chair Rodriguez?
Aye.
We have a 4-0 vote in favor. That item passes with Supervisor Kennedy absent.
Next item, please.
Next item on our agenda is item 37. That is Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Agency update regarding the 2024 audit findings and corrective action progress.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the board. My name is Kay Junta. I'm SHRA's Assistant Director of Finance. On December 3rd, 2025, SHRA submitted the financial reports associated with the 2024 single audit and the Housing Authority's audited financial statements. On February 10th of this year, our principal auditor with Clifton Larson Allen formally presented the audited financial statements for single audit and related findings to the board. The 2024 audit resulted in an unmodified, which is a clean audit opinion on the agency's financial statements. The audit also identified 1 financial reporting finding and 5 federal award findings requiring corrective action. Consistent with our commitment to transparency, accountability, and the JPA's expectations for continued oversight, staff are providing this follow-up on the agency's progress in addressing those findings. SHRA implemented corrective actions for each finding, including completing file corrections, strengthening management oversight, providing additional staff training, and improving monitoring and review processes. I am pleased to report that all 5 federal award findings were cleared as part of the single audit for the year ending 2025. Finance staff also continue to strengthen the financial close and reporting processes and remain on track to meet the 2025 audit reporting deadlines. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kay. Supervisor Hugh.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, congratulations on your positive progress and getting all of those clearances. I just have a question, because you mentioned it in your report, and it's also mentioned in the written staff report. On a couple of the issues, particularly around the housing choice vouchers, it talks about material weaknesses in internal controls or significant deficiency in internal controls, and then it says the file or the files were corrected. What does that mean, that the file was corrected?
That is a great question. And I'm sorry, my executive director, Chris Warren, is here.
Good morning, Chris.
Supervisors. So the files are the actual files that are for the families, and in those files there might have been a missed, it could have been a missed paperwork, could have been a missed signature. I don't have all the details, but it's usually something that within the file has been missed. And so we went back and made sure the files were 100% complete, and that was then verified by the third-party auditor that those files were completed and fixed.
Okay, so it's something that should have been documented that wasn't, that may have affected eligibility or at least substantiated the eligibility, something to that, okay.
Correct.
All right,
correct.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it.
Desmond.
Supervisor Desmond.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for the presentation. I think this is, you know, I know that there's always been a lot of scrutiny on SHRA by HUD, but I think this represents a change in terms of the level of scrutiny by the JPA, the county, and the city, and a much higher level of transparency, which I know the presenter mentioned. So I just want to thank you for increasing that transparency, providing additional information to our board and also by extension the public. And then had a question: do we have another meeting set in the coming months with the city as a JPA?
I believe it's in November.
November. Okay.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
In November.
That's correct.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chair.
I could add one little more
Yes.
caveat. Just when I think my first or second day on the job is when we reported out to you the FY24 findings, and the JPA requires within 6 months to come back on and update you on those findings and our progress. So we're a little beyond the 6-month mark, just based on timing of getting on the board agendas and so forth. But we are here and present, and just want to make note of that, because I think that's also new in the process of transparency for SHRA.
Thank you, Chris. All right, are there any requests, any public requests to speak?
We have no in-person requests to speak, and anyone online that would like to address the supervisors on item 37, the Housing and Redevelopment Agency update, now's the time to raise your virtual hand. And we have no online requests to speak either.
All right, so this is a receive and file, no action needed?
Correct.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Kay, for the presentation and the updates. Next item, please.
All right. And as announced earlier, item 38 has been continued to August 25th, which brings us to item 39. This is the hearing to lien delinquent storm drain service charges for the city of Citrus Heights.
And just for clarification for the clerk, we're going to go through all of the items, but we are going to take public comments individually and then do a motion for each individually. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Hi. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Rodriguez, members of the board. Marcus Bessie, Deputy Director of Finance for the County of Sacramento, presenting items 39 through 44, which contain delinquent utility charges collected by our Consolidated Utility Billing Division. We are asking the board to have these charges enrolled on the tax roll. Each customer was notified through delinquent bills and notices that these charges would be enrolled on the property tax bill, and the board adopted a resolution back on June 9th of 2026. Customers will still be able to pay until August 21st to be able to avoid having these charges put on the property tax bill. Item 38 contains storm drainage charges for the city of Citrus Heights. There was 1,421 accounts totaling $137,566. Item 40 contains delinquent solid waste charges, which includes 8,906 accounts totaling $5,164,123. Item 41 contains delinquent storm drainage charges, 9,077 accounts in the amount of $735,291. Item 42 is delinquent utility user taxes, 13,751 accounts totaling $257,458. And item 43 is the delinquent storm drainage charges for the city of Rancho Cordova. That includes 1,221 accounts totaling $127,632. And last, item 44 is the delinquent water charges for the Sacramento County Water Agency. This was 2,846 accounts totaling $2,586,951. We expect these accounts to go down as people that attempt to, resolve these issues and pay their accounts. This item also gives the authority to our director to continue to work with these customers as needed. Thank you for your consideration and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mark. Supervisor Hume?
Thank you, Chair. I realize we need to have a separate vote on each of these items. Do we need to do anything special to reconvene as the water agency or make mention of that at all?
I believe that you would have to do that, yes.
Okay.
And that would be for item 44.
Correct.
You're already sitting as the water agency, but the motion should be just reflect that it will be made on behalf of the water agency.
Very good. I'm prepared to make those motions once we call for public comment.
All right. Are there any requests to speak on these items?
All right. Anyone who wishes to address the supervisors on item 39, the delinquent storm drain service charges for the city of Citrus Heights, now's the time to raise your virtual hand. We have no...
Oh, I'm sorry. Do I need to open the public hearing?
Oh, these are hearings. That is
Okay.
correct.
So, right. So let me open the public hearing.
Thank you for
and are
catching
there
that.
any public comments?
And so that is 46. That is the letter. All right. And so we have no one signed up to speak on 39, and either virtually or in person, so we can take a motion on item 39.
All right. We will now close the public hearing.
Move the item.
Second.
All right. Roll call, please.
All right. Supervisor Cerna.
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hume.
Aye.
And Chair Rodriguez.
Aye.
Item 39 passes 4-0 with Supervisor Kennedy absent.
All right. Next item.
Next item we will ask for is item 40, which is the hearing to lien delinquent solid waste service charges and adopt the resolution ordering delinquent solid waste service charges be collected. So now would be a time to open
Let me
public
open
hearing.
the public hearing. Are there any requests to speak?
Anyone who would like to address the supervisors on item 40, the solid waste service charges, now is the time to raise your virtual hand. We have no request to speak online and no in-person request to speak.
Okay. We will now close the public hearing.
Move the item.
Second.
All right. A motion is second. Roll call, please.
All right. Supervisor Cerna.
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hume.
Aye.
And Chair Rodriguez.
Aye.
Item 40 passes 4-0 with Supervisor Kennedy absent.
Next item.
Moving on to item 41. This is the hearing to lien delinquent storm drain service charges and adoption of the resolution ordering the charges be collected. We can open that hearing.
All right, we'll open the public hearing. Are there any requests to speak?
Anyone online who would like to address the supervisors for item 41, the delinquent storm drain service charges, now is the time to raise your virtual hand. We have no request to speak online and no in-person requests to speak on this
We'll
item.
close the public hearing.
Move the item.
Second.
All right, roll call vote.
Supervisor Cerna,
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond,
Aye.
Vice Chair Hume,
Aye.
and Chair Rodriguez.
Aye.
All right. Item 41 passes 4-0 with Supervisor Kennedy absent.
Next hearing.
Next, we have item 42. This is the hearing to lien delinquent utility taxes and adoption of resolution ordering the taxes be collected.
All right, we will open the public hearing. Are there any requests to speak?
Any person online who would like to address the supervisors for item 42 on the delinquent utility taxes, now is the time to raise your virtual hand. We have no requests to speak online and no in-person requests.
We will close the public hearing.
Move the item.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Cerna,
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond,
Aye.
Vice Chair Hume,
Aye.
and Chair Rodriguez.
Aye.
Item 42 passes 4-0 with Supervisor Kennedy absent.
Next hearing.
Next item is 43, the hearing to lien delinquent storm drain service charges for the city of Rancho Cordova.
All right, we will open the public hearing. Are there any requests to speak?
Anyone online who would like to address the supervisors on the delinquent storm drain service charges from the city of Rancho Cordova, now is the time to raise your virtual hand. We have no requests to speak online and no in-person requests.
Move the item.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
And we'll close that hearing.
Oh, close it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, close the hearing.
And Supervisor Cerna,
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond,
Aye.
Vice Chair Hume,
Aye.
and Chair Rodriguez.
Aye.
Item 43 passes 4-0 with Supervisor Kennedy absent.
All right, next hearing.
Item 44, you will be acting as a Sacramento County Water Agency, and this is the hearing to lien delinquent water use service charges and adoption of the resolution ordering delinquent utility water service charges be collected.
We will open the public hearing. Are there any requests to speak?
Any member of the public that would like to address the supervisors for item 44, delinquent water use service charges, now is the time to raise your virtual hand. We have no request to speak online and no request in person.
We will close the public hearing.
Move the item.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Cerna,
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond,
Aye.
Vice Chair Hume,
Aye.
and Chair Rodriguez.
Aye.
Item 44 passes 4-0 with Supervisor Kennedy absent.
Next item, please.
Thank you. Our next
Mark.
item is item 45. You will be acting as the Board of Supervisors once again. This is to approve the contract for a pilot energy savings performance contract with Wilden Energy Solutions for the implementation of energy efficiency and electrification measures at 799 G Street and 711 G Street building facilities.
Good morning, Joshua.
Good morning. Just wait for my presentation to pull up. But good morning, Chair Rodriguez and Supervisors. I'm Josh Latham, the County Sustainability Manager. I have a very brief presentation this morning regarding a pilot energy savings performance contract from DGS to install energy efficiency measures at 2 county buildings. This project opportunity aligns with multiple county objectives. The county's climate action plan directs DGS to reduce natural gas use at county buildings. DGS is also responsible for maintaining and replacing equipment at county buildings. And DGS's energy management program is tasked with finding opportunities to reduce energy use and utility costs at the county's ACP facilities. And this opportunity lets us advance on all of those objectives simultaneously. In August 2023, DGS solicited for energy services, contacting 9 energy service companies, or ESCOs, with the intent to use State Code 4217 as the procurement vehicle for this energy efficiency project. DGS at the time selected 2 properties for this pilot project, circled in red on the map on the screen. That's 799 G Street and 711 G Street, so the 2 buildings just north of the county garage across the street. Through that ESCO solicitation process, we had one vendor who was responsive to all of the county's solicitation requirements, and that's Willdan Energy Solutions. Willdan submitted a preliminary energy audit for those facilities and then facilitated a site tour for county staff at one of their prior ESCO projects. That example was from the state's Department of General Services. So following that site walk together, Willdan performed an investment grade audit for these facilities that identified a package of energy efficiency and electrification measures for the project for which Willdan could provide guaranteed energy savings through an energy savings performance contract. So as I mentioned, DGS pursued this work through California Government Code 4217, which gives the county a more streamlined approach to procure for energy efficiency projects. Specifically, it lets a public agency enter into an energy service contract if a determination is made at a regularly scheduled public hearing, if public notice to hear that item is given at least 2 weeks prior to that item being heard, and then if the governing body finds that the cost to the public agency to implement the project is less than the cost the public agency would otherwise spend on energy if that project were not to occur. And then finally, if applicable, that any increase in rent for a ground lease at the project property would be offset by that project's energy savings. So to make those findings, DGS staff worked with Willdan to select a package of energy efficiency and electrification improvements that can provide those long-term utility cost savings. So the table here summarizes that list of facility measures to be included. It shows the estimated annual energy savings, the expected total utility savings over the first year. And the project list includes things like lighting and lighting control upgrades, data center optimization at the DTEC building, air handler unit refurbishment, retro commissioning at both buildings to kind of retune the building's total energy systems, and then replacing the existing domestic hot water gas boilers with electric heat pump options. I'll note that the equipment selected has reached its end of useful life, and without this project, those types of projects would otherwise find their way into the queue for the capital improvement plan, which is already oversubscribed, so this opportunity gives us a way to kind of get ahead of some of those maintenance items. The project is estimated to provide energy savings of about 1 million kilowatt hours of electricity per year and 1,500 therms of natural gas per year, which equates to right about $155,000 of total utility savings in that first year. Through the energy savings performance contract, Willdan would then guarantee those first year savings, and that's a way for them to demonstrate that the project was properly installed and that it will be delivering on the expected energy savings. Cumulative project savings over the 25-year equipment lifespan would be right around $6 million.
One moment. Supervisor Cerna.
Thank you, Chair. If you can go back to the previous slide, please. And to your last comment there about the estimated cumulative energy savings over a quarter of a century, if 7-Eleven is still standing in 25 years, I'd be surprised. So my point here is this is great, and I know that this is going a long way to help us implement our still fresh off the presses cap. But as it relates to 7-Eleven in particular, what is the expected lifespan of the building itself? I mean, these are great investments. It's the right thing to do, but I just wonder how much of this is actually going to come to fruition relative to the older of the two sites.
I will take a crack at answering that, and if Director Green has anything he wants to chime in, that's fine too. That is an excellent and a timely question. As I'm sure you're aware, DGS is in the middle of completing a space utilization study, looking at all of the county-owned properties, and as part of that process, developing facility condition assessments to understand what is the long-term lifespan of the equipment there. Part of that process will help us understand where do we want to make these longer-term investments in energy efficiency opportunities and electrification, for example, of the domestic hot water or heat piece here. We've shaped this project as a pilot project to be small enough that we were not getting over our skis on some items. Most of the energy saving return is from 799 G Street, which is the much larger energy user of the two buildings. We included the two because they do share some systems, and it felt like a good opportunity to test this energy savings performance contract as a pilot project that could then be scaled up to additional buildings once we have more of that information from the space utilization study and those facility cost assessments that I mentioned.
What would happen hypothetically if, I don't know, a potential purchaser expressed interest in 711 G Street, maybe in the context of assembling other nearby properties to redevelop the area 2 blocks to our north here?
I do not have an answer for this question. Josh, I don't know if you do.
While Josh is walking to the podium, I just want to chime in to say there's a lot of unknowns right now, Supervisor. By the way, Sylvester for our Deputy County Executive. What we've seen with county asset X, they are highly dated. There's a lot of unknown. We're doing a space utilization study right now, some sort of an asset assessment, just to get a better understanding of what the county has, duration of these properties, and if some of them are even worth investing into. So we can't speak to what would happen with 7-Eleven. There's a lot of county assets that needs comprehensive retrofits, or quite frankly, just to be raised down and the land used for something better that would bring some sort of benefits to the county. With these unknowns, we got to have some data, and the space utilization study is going to provide us some data and give us some ideas as to cost estimate. If we choose to fix them up, at least we'll have an idea of what it would cost, and if we choose to let go, then we can make much better decisions as it relates to all these properties. So 711G was just picked in view of where it's located, close to the county DTEC building.
Yeah, I'm particularly sensitive to this general, and I'm pointing here to the north, I'd say general 10-block area, because we've just had the old courthouse vacated, and obviously we have a brand spanking new courthouse, which is serving us now to the west. We have the St. Joseph's surface parking lot. We have, in my estimation, a very underutilized 2-story parking facility, at least above grade. I know below grade. It also serves our employees here for this facility that we're in. But if you see where I'm going with this, there is, and then on top of that, you have all the energy going into that part of the rail yards, with new stadiums being proposed and whatnot. I'm thinking, long term, maybe even medium term, that there could be at some point in, let's say, the next decade where there might be some interest expressed by the city, there might be some interest expressed by private investors to assemble these various parcels to redevelop this part of downtown Sacramento. So I'm just a little itchy about us investing in, this is grant funding?
So this project is funded not through grant funding, it's through our sustainability accounts for implementation of the Climate Action Plan objectives.
Is that general fund?
Yeah, it's
okay,
collected
so that's
through the
even
FUA.
worse.
Well, I think it's really a portion of the rent that they charge. They put a premium on the rent that goes in to fund these things.
What's taking place in 7-Eleven right now?
As far as program supervisor, as far as
utility, utilities. It used to be the home of the sheriff's department. Yeah, but what exactly is going on there? It's not where Sheriff Cooper has his office any longer.
Supervisor, I believe we can get back to you on that, but my understanding is probation has some operations in there, and also correctional health has some.
And that's great. I just that is an old building.
Yes.
And it probably has other systems that, besides the systems that are being addressed here to retrofit and electrify, but it's an old building. And I just wonder out loud here, is this the right investment to make, especially with rare general fund dollars? I get it. I'm a fan of the cap, very engaged as we all were up here in the development of that. But I'm just wondering out loud whether or not it's the right investment to make at this time based on the useful life of the entire building. Not so much the other building because that's a newer building, but this one I really scratched my head.
I agree with you that 799 G Street, which is our data center, would be a great opportunity for this. And I think you're agreeing with that. If the board chooses not to do 711 G Street or 711 G Street, we can absolutely take that off. But I think there's some investments as far as our pilot. All our buildings are equivalent to 711 G Street. At least I feel. I'm sure there's some exceptions to it, but all our buildings are aging, and that's probably the smallest one for us to do a pilot on and get some feedback from that to see if that's something we want to do with the other buildings also.
What would happen, again, hypothetically, though, if there's some interest expressed, would basically that's a sunk general fund cost.
It's not.
They come along and we want the property under the building. We don't want the building.
Right.
So our intention is we're going to buy the property from you, county, raise the building, including all that spanking brand new stuff you just put in to save the county a bunch of money as a pilot. That's my problem. And I get it. It's kind of a conundrum because you're looking to retrofit old systems and presumably in older buildings. But I just don't know if that's the right particular property, and what was the vetting process used to determine that was the right property, given the fact that we do have a wide stable of inefficient, dated buildings here for the county of Sacramento.
I think, in speaking to the vetting process for that building, the size of it seemed appropriate for a pilot project with most of those energy savings associated with 799 G Street, since it is a data center and did have higher energy efficiency opportunities.
No problem with 799.
Right. I think expanding the size to include 711 G was considered because they do share some systems together, and the thought was if they go as a package, perhaps it improves the payback, or you get a kind of a bigger bite at the apple for energy efficiency opportunities.
What is that, a 7-story, 8-story building, 711?
I think that's approximately right. But
the 7-story building.
7-story, okay. And all 7 floors are being used right now?
To my knowledge, yes, that's true.
Okay, so the whole building's occupied.
Yeah, except for the first floor, which is for most part systems. There's very little staff on the first floor. And 799 G Street, that was your question, correct?
What? I'm sorry?
799 G
No,
Street?
711.
Oh, 711. 711 is only 4 stories, I believe. 4 stories. I'm sorry. I was talking about 799.
Okay.
711 G Street is 4 stories.
Okay.
And I'm not sure the full occupancy right now. Is it full?
It is.
Okay. It's full.
Okay.
Supervisor Hume.
Thank you, Chair. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, please.
I think Supervisor Cerna is raising some excellent points I hadn't considered. You mentioned the possibility of bifurcating out the 2 buildings and maybe only pursuing one. Do we know how those costs would be divided and what the savings and how that would be divided if we were to only pursue 799 and not 711? Is that a known figure?
I do not have it in front of me. We do have that information available. We would need to go back and consult with Wildan to make sure that that's still an approach that is amenable to them.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
If I could, Chair.
Yes.
So the systems that are being recommended here for 711, I've heard you say now a few times, well, you looked at the systems that are connected or that both buildings share. If we were to maybe take some time to reconsider 711, to what extent would that compromise the ability to move forward with 799?
I think the ultimate question would be, is the size of the project large enough that the selected vendor still wants to move forward with the project? It might cause us to go back to look at the original list of the full list of energy efficiency opportunity improvements that were identified and see if there's others that we might add if we're only looking at 799 G Street.
Was this building looked at?
This building right here. It was not considered at the time when those two buildings were selected to pursue a pilot project. It is on a very near punch list to be considered if we like how this pilot goes.
So am I hearing you correctly that if it was the board's will maybe to hold off on 7-Eleven, that this could be a candidate building for carrying out the same intent of trying to look at energy savings and how to pilot test the efficiency gains could be applied to this building? I know not every building's the same, and they got different systems, different age systems, all those types of things. But I just think of this building as old as it is, which I think is probably over 50 years old now. But and it's probably a bias of mine just because it's where we do our business here and we have our offices. But it feels like this has probably more useful life, whether we like it or not, as a fully occupied building than 7-Eleven. And if I'm off base, please, and I'm willing to stand corrected. But I just maybe David, what we could do is, if it doesn't upset the apple cart too much, is maybe take our time with a decision on 7-Eleven today, and maybe have staff reconvene with Will Dan, see if there's a there based on a different scale of contract. And I'd like to know a little bit more about some of the other candidate properties, including this building, to see if it makes more sense in terms of, again, the fact that we're using general fund dollars to do the pilot.
We can absolutely do that, Supervisor. What we can do is reconvene and look at that vetting list and see if, using the new criteria that you're bringing up today, and see how that fits into that list, and see if we have other recommendations for you and bring that forward.
I mean, and I'm looking not just to get the benefit of a pilot to help inform how we might scale this up. And that's I would assume, is our intent with implementation of the cap moving forward. But it may actually prove to be maybe a wiser investment. So, anyhow.
Can I get clarity on a couple of things? So currently, right now, the Energy Revolving Fund and the Sustainability Fund are both general fund.
So the way those are both funded, one is funded through an additional charge on rent. So everybody's charged a rent, and a piece of that rent is to fund into the sustainability, or one of those funds. I'm not sure which one is which, to fund into those. So at one time it was, is it 0.25%? 0.25% is the amount that they set aside as part of rent and put into that. And then, so anybody who's in a building pays rent, it goes into that. So it's not necessarily straight from the general fund into those things. It's part of rent, and it's worked its way through. Yeah.
Okay.
For example, the board is charged rent. The board is funded 100% by general fund, so therefore there is some general fund in there. But there are some other funds in there. Water resources is probably in a building. General services is in a building that aren't necessarily directly general fund. The other fund is something we set up decades ago, I feel like, and Josh's predecessor has worked on those, is when they have savings from improvement or in lighting programs, whatever those things are, those savings are captured and put into this fund so they can continue. So it's more of a revolving fund, so they can continue to invest in future enhancements in energy savings.
Mm-hmm. So the Sustainability Fund is, just for my own clarity, it is a fund that funds go into it from these rents, but it's to make improvements to the building
and sustainability to directly address the cap is what our goal was, to address that.
Okay, all right. Supervisor Hume?
Thank you, Chair. Full disclosure, I peeked ahead. There's only one more slide, so I'm going to go ahead and jump to, if you're done with this line of questioning. Yeah. So the final slide goes back to what my questions revolve around, which is this Government Code 4217 and what the requirements are there and what the difference from issuing a typical bid procurement process. Can you walk me through what are the intricacies or the peculiarities of this particular arrangement as to why it has a special code section that says we have to recoup more than we spend?
Yeah, I will take a shot at this. This would be the first time I believe the county has pursued procurement using Government Code 4217, but it was set up to streamline procurement for public agencies specifically related to energy efficiency opportunities. And it lets you avoid, or I guess bypass, the more traditional procurement route, which might be releasing a solicitation for a request for qualifications or a request for proposals, where it's a smaller pool of companies that you might be directly coordinating with, and to ensure that the project is providing benefits to the public agency. These two stipulations were identified within the government code. 2.5. The first one is that you need to have a public notice that the public agency is going to hear the item at a regularly scheduled public meeting. So on July 10th, we released a public notice in the Daily Recorder that the board would hear this item today. Then those two other stipulations that I noted are ensuring that the cost of the project is less than essentially the cost of not doing the project when it comes to an energy savings perspective. And the second was similar, looking at if there's a ground lease component related to the contract, ensuring that whatever the net cost to that ground lease piece is accounted for and kind of covered by those energy utility savings.
Okay. And so a couple of follow-up questions on that. One, if I recall reading in the staff report, it's not like this was a single award situation. There were competitors, and I believe Willdan was the only competitor that actually took us out to a site to show us work that they'd already done, and that's what made them sort of rise to the top, if you will?
Correct. From that set of 9 ESCOs or energy service companies that we originally had reached out to ask regarding their interest in this opportunity. Willdan was the only one that performed all of the items that the county had asked of them.
And so ESCO is a fairly specialized field. Is that a fair statement?
Correct. Yeah, they're companies who are referred to as ESCOs who perform energy services and typically offer the financing to support the project. In this instance, we were going to be self-funded through the funding that we just talked about, but there's often a financing component to this where the ESCO is arranging for that financing, and then the utility savings from the project are what's used to service that debt over time.
Okay, and so then that's the second question I wanted to ask is kind of back to Supervisor Cerna's point about the shelf life of this building. Beyond the utility savings to be realized, there are no other financial encumbrances of this relationship. Once we pay for this upgrade, the savings are ours. Is that correct?
Yep. Yes. Confirming with my brain trust, but yes.
Okay. And so then I guess would there be a scenario where we would do a large-scale retrofit and not seek to have utility savings? I mean, this seems like a very strange carve-out to allow for a different procedure, and it's kind of an academic exercise, but I'm just trying to chase down why this particular government code section exists and why we felt the need to use it.
I cannot speak to why this government code section exists. I understand your line of questioning there. We've had discussions internally about if we were going to move beyond a pilot project, how we might want to pursue this work, having discussed and kind of reviewed other ESCO solicitation processes from other local governments. And I think we're all fairly aligned that what we would prefer moving forward is a request for qualifications process to identify a subset of ESCOs that we want to work with and identify the specific properties for those folks to pursue and bid on. In this instance, I have only been here for 10 months. I don't exactly know back to 2023 when this process started, what the thought process was to wanting to kind of accelerate the procurement process and use the Government Code 4217 path.
Okay. So then let's look at why we chose to do a pilot project. Is the proof of concept that we seek accuracy relative to the projections and what is realized once the upgrades are done?
I think that's a great synopsis, yes.
And so then the reason why we chose to do it at a smaller scale before we used other county buildings is in order to kind of make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze, if you will.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it was a risk management approach, and then that kind of gets back to the buildings that were selected. If the preferred option is to self-fund, and we wanted to look at what funds we had available, we have $1.2 million in the energy revolving fund, and we have I don't know the exact balance of the sustainability fund, but it's around $4 million right now and brings in about $2 million per year. So that kind of scaled for us the opportunity that we could look at.
Okay. And so then back to Supervisor Cerna's point, through our climate action plan adoption, we've said that these are laudable things to pursue irrespective of, the bottom line to the county. And, but it doesn't seem like this fund is going to go very far. I mean, we're burning through pretty much everything that's been accumulated to do these relatively small buildings. What do we look at as far as from a program sustainability as we look to upgrade? I mean, as I've heard it, we have a couple $2 billion in upgrades that are needed throughout the county's system.
I think there's two ideas to pursue there. One would be, are there options to increase the size of that energy revolving fund so that we could fund or support larger projects moving forward, particularly if opportunities like this are providing those energy cost savings returns. The other option, and back to the pilot approach, would be that if we're comfortable with the energy savings performance contract piece and we feel like we got good value in that, can we pursue those larger items through the financing aspect of those projects where we're not just relying solely on the sustainability fund and energy fund? And does that give us the ability to kind of increase the scale of projects we pursue, knowing that we have comfort and confidence that they are going to provide those energy utility savings to pay for the projects?
And so then coming full circle back to this strange government code section, if we were to finance on projected savings, would that then affect the cost of the project relative to those savings? In other words, if one of the requirements is that this has to be a net benefit financially, if we were to actually leverage those savings in order to upfront the cost?
Could you restate that question?
Yeah, I'm just trying to drill down on, again, I'm just confused as to why something that is, good for a whole host of reasons, not to mention making sure that your systems are in good working order, but why there's that requirement that the savings has to be greater than the cost to implement. And if, as you just said, we were to leverage those savings in order to finance the upfront cost, does that then factor into the net savings benefit that is required by the government code section?
I believe if in this instance we were not self-funding and the project I brought forward to you was using financing, the financial results that I would show would say we're financing the project and we believe by year X the project turns net positive in terms of a utility cost savings.
So you would bake those debt service payments into the overall financial picture?
Exactly.
To show, okay, thank you. No further questions.
I just have a few questions. On the sustainability fund and the energy revolving fund, what is the balance in those two accounts?
Supervisor, I don't have that information. I heard the sustainability fund has about $4 million in it, which is the 0.25% of the rent. And then I'm not sure what the revolving fund is.
And
the energy revolving fund has $1.2 million in it.
So this would use it all.
And I have a question for you, Joshua. Are there grants that the county can apply for that can cover some of these costs? Because it is related to CAP, it is related to increasing energy, reducing other costs. are there grants out there that can help fund this instead of us using the general fund? And I say this because we just came from a super contentious budget hearing where, I mean, here it is. If we don't begin to tighten things up from this point to September, we're going to, you know, I don't know what that's going to look like. And then, you know, I'm delving down. You know, I asked our CEO and our CFO about a week and a half ago just to really report and with specific specs about what this discretionary and semi-discretionary funds in, but this is a part of that fund that I think when we look at what's coming down the pike in a couple of months, to me, we could use these funds in other areas. Although I do appreciate having a sustainability fund that can allow us to invest back into buildings. But so my question here is, are there grants out there that can potentially cover some of these costs?
Our team can look into that to see what might be available. The current focus on grant funding opportunities in the moment is on EV infrastructure installations. A lot of focus on community-wide extreme heat mitigation opportunities and on water conservation and long-term supply strategies and focus. There is currently not as much emphasis in the grant funding world on building energy efficiency pieces, and I think it is in large part due to the fact that there's often a financial ROI on the projects, that they do provide that payback over time. It doesn't help in this instance, you know, to get over that initial upfront cost, and I appreciate that.
Have we checked in with SMUD to see if there are any programs that can help cover some of these, you know, costs or programs, or they have such a wide range of assistance that can help improve. In this case, you know, 711 G Street, which is old, it's aging, it's probably costly to maintain.
Yeah. Also an excellent question. The DGS and SMUD teams have quarterly coordination meetings where we let them know what projects we're looking at, and their folks come and say, great, we have incentives for X, Y, and Z. So this project does include, I don't have the number in front of me, I think it's approximately $40,000 or $45,000 worth of incentives from SMUD that were applicable to the types of improvements that we're looking at these buildings.
And so is there any support that SMUD can provide here?
The incentives that we've included in this project are the support that they can provide, and I believe those grants are related to converting from the natural gas hot water boilers to the electric heat pump option, because that is kind of SMUD's purview and focus at this moment, is electrification of natural gas equipment.
Okay. Thank you. I'm not going to support this, not because I don't support this effort here, but I think I'm not going to support it because I think when it comes to general fund dollars right now and where we're at, to me, this is not an emergency. It's not, we're not in a crisis state. It's not something that must happen, but I do support the effort that your team does for the county. Supervisor Serna.
Thank you.
And by the way, one more thing. I am a big fan of Wildan. I did my research on them about a year ago, and they are, I think, an excellent organization. Supervisor Serna.
So it occurs to me that the punchline here, part of it is the $6 million over 25 years, right, that we recoup. And so it purports to be a great investment when you're spending $4 million. But it occurs to me that presumes that building is still standing operable in county ownership in 2051. Do we all think in this room and outside this room that building is going to be still serving the county in 2051? I don't. So I really question the math here in terms of the assumption, and it's a big assumption, that particular part of the county's infrastructure is gonna live to see the day to realize that part of the $6 million savings. So that's why I think there's a little bit more that begs to be taken back to the drawing board, in my estimation. Again, I don't want to confuse the two buildings. I think 799 is a different proposition. But again, think about not just the age of the building, but what I believe sincerely will probably be within the next 25 years, some interest, public or otherwise, in redeveloping this multi-block area because of just the land assemblage potential, given some of the vacancies now. So I don't know, Mr. Clerk, if we have public speakers lined up on this?
We don't in person, and my guess is online, no. I can request they raise their hands.
I would, I guess, like to move then, Madam Chair, that we support staff's recommendation as it relates to 799, and then have them maybe go back and review some of the other potential candidate building sites in the county's inventory that I think might possibly be more likely than what has been presented here with the 711 G Street building in the recommendation.
Right, before we go to a second on that, Supervisor Hume?
Thank you, Chair. First of all, again, I just want to thank Supervisor Cerna for his line of questioning and I think accurate portrayal of the potentials of 711 building. I could not support his suggested motion of bifurcating the two without knowing the dollars behind that, what would be expended and what would be projected savings. And then I would also I'd have some questions of the applicant relative to some of the other issues, generally speaking, relative to this program. So irrespective of any public comment, I would appreciate to have an opportunity to ask the applicant some questions.
So we can have the applicant come up.
For right now,
Go done.
Carolyn?
Good morning.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Carolyn Kiesner, Regional Vice President with Wildan, and I'm here with
Jason Boyd, Energy Program Manager.
Did you have a presentation you were prepared to make, or did you want to jump straight into questions? I mean, obviously, you've heard some of the concerns expressed from the dais here.
We'd be happy to jump into any questions that you have. We had staff present today, and we're here to have, provide any support with any questions you have.
All right, so let me start with maybe the elephant in the room. Do you have an opinion one way or another on the usability or age of a building relative to the wisdom behind investing into these energy upgrades?
So I think first and foremost, we did lead on staff on making the selection of whatever buildings they felt were the best to approach. I know that they looked at it from an energy usage perspective and a building usage perspective. And so we leaned on staff to make those decisions for us. As we approached the different buildings, we did have a discussion of all the whole portfolio. And at that time, those buildings were selected essentially because of the high usage at the data center. So that's where we supported that opportunity there.
And so how much due diligence have you already performed relative to the work that would be performed either in concert of both buildings and or 799 specifically versus 711 specifically?
So there was significant due diligence. So this has been a pilot that's been in place for several years now. So our engineering team worked closely with the facilities staff. And we've walked the building several different times to investigate the opportunities for energy savings. Here it was more focused on energy efficiency. And so a lot of due diligence was put into place to come up with the measures. So we came up with a slew of measures, and it kind of essentially staff took the time to select the best measures that they felt would achieve the best savings and then also address the needs that are at the building from the facilities perspective.
And so from that, back of the napkin sketch, do you have an idea of how it would break down if we were to only pursue 799 and not 711?
So that is something we'd be able to analyze. I wish I had the information to break it out. But with everyone's input today, I think that's something we can definitely revisit if it was a choice to really just focus in on the DTEC building, the data center building.
Either that or look at 799 and another county asset that is that is more appropriate based on, some of the issues that I and others have brought up today.
Absolutely. Supervisor Cerner, we'd be happy to evaluate with the board's input, along with staff's input, what was felt to be the best building to select. I think it wasn't selected willy-nilly, believe me. I know there was a lot of intention and a lot of thought by staff on what buildings to select specifically for the pilot. So essentially that's the building we ended up supporting. I think now with new information and new input, and I think what we're appreciating is this very engaging discussion around this around this opportunity for the county. And so any input you would have that we can incorporate into this initial pilot, or if you decide to maybe broaden the pilot, we'd be happy to evaluate that.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I'm driving at ultimately is I'm coming off the board at the end of the calendar year, but as a Sacramento County resident, I'd hate to read in some online publication, 10 years from now, grand redevelopment proposal for, this part of downtown is happening, and lo and behold, this building is scheduled to be raised. Well, now you're raising the investment that we made back in 2026. That doesn't make any sense to me. Again, I kind of just harken back, and I get the fact that this is not as black and white as maybe I'm making it out to be because of the connectivity between systems, between the buildings. I get that. But everyone gives me a blank stare when I put it in terms of in 2051, do you think that building's still going to be doing what it's doing? And I don't think so. So I can't support the recommendation as is. I think maybe another option, if it makes my colleagues a little bit more comfortable, is simply to punt this and give it some more thought in its entirety and just do a continuance to, I don't know if a date certain or a date uncertain, but I would like to understand better the candidate properties. I think the intent is laudable, and I support it. We spend a lot of time on our cap, and this is us realizing policy into practice here. But I scratch my head on that particular address.
So I will take your comments as a motion?
Yeah, if
replacing them?
if that makes
Okay.
Yeah, if that makes us everyone a little bit more comfortable, I think that's probably the more global motion that makes sense.
Before I'll second that, but Supervisor Desmond, are there any comments or questions you have?
No comments. I was just trying to second Supervisor Cerner's motion, if that is a motion to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Supervisor
Hume. Thank you. Thought I'd help you out there. I do have some other questions, though, before we obviously we see where this is going, because I support the motion to take a closer look at this. But during our briefing, you mentioned that solar was not an option as an energy efficiency. And one of the reasons why this building was so attractive from a pilot program, and also why I think it was a good candidate because of the fact that it is the county's data center. And we're hearing a lot about data centers these days, particularly with respect to energy intensive use, and then the other piece being the water use for cooling. And you told me that you were basically instructed by SMUD that was not an eligible project for solar.
Yes, unfortunately, so there's limitations on the SMUD's electrical infrastructure in essentially the downtown Midtown area. We evaluated solar to do carports over the different parking lots. I think we'd all be excited to see something like that.
Especially this guy.
Yes, please.
Yeah, where I parked right now. I think we'd all be excited to see that. Unfortunately, there are limitations on the SMUD's infrastructure here that does not enable us to, I believe, install over 100 kW of solar. So the solar at these sites just weren't possible.
In terms of the ability to receive the electrons?
Go ahead. Did you want to jump in?
Yeah, so it's you've got that right. It's just the local subgrid's ability to handle the additional electrons being pushed.
Which is ironic since we got the SMUD building right over here.
And just to be clear, it's not a blanket ban of solar being installed. It's just limitations on the size.
Yeah.
And based off our analysis, that wouldn't be a size that would be a beneficial investment for this facility for this project.
And so then, in your estimation, I realize you might not be an SME in this, but in your estimation, is that something that can be upgraded, modified, considered, or is that just kind of this is the playing field as it exists and it's going to be that way?
And just to clarify, you're asking about if the grid itself can be upgraded?
Yes, let me ask my question in a little more pointed manner that might drive the point home to what my colleague just mentioned. Is I am dismayed by the fact that every time we propose a massive solar farm taking productive agriculture out of food growing use, we get beat up, and particularly I get beat up because people say, well, why aren't we putting it over parking lots and on buildings and these types of smart things? And one of the things that frustrates people is when government has two different sets of standards, do as I say, not as I do. And so when we are telling people that they ought to invoke solar and use solar, and yet we have a perfect opportunity for us to do it for a very beneficial use, and we're told we can't because the infrastructure won't support it. Is that a shortcoming that can be modified or adapted going forward? Is it that we just need to make sure that everybody understands that downtown, midtown is off limits? I mean, it seems terribly short-sighted to me that we cannot utilize some of these rooftops and parking lots for distributed grid use.
Yeah.
Was there a question in there? I'm not sure.
I mean, I would say I certainly understand your point, but I cannot really speak to future plans for SMUD's grid downtown and investments that may or may not be coming there. Just the limitations as we understand them right now.
Yeah, and I think if there were significant interest, I think that's where we'd bring in SMUD as a partnership, right, to have more discussions along with the county to see if there was opportunity and when that could be, in this area. I know outside of the downtown grid, there are more possibilities to install solar for the county.
Don't I know it?
Yeah.
But I really appreciate Supervisor Hume's position on this and his expression of interest in it. And if you think about not just the two properties that are at issue here, but what's around it. I mean, if we really wanted to maximize, let's say SMUD had all the ability in the world to accept those electrons, which I still find ironic because they have the most aggressive 2030 goal out of all of us. Seems like they ought to have the capacity, literally the capacity to take renewables where it's generated and put it back into the grid. But if you think about the surface parking lot across from the old courthouse, and I know some of that may still be in use for the existing courthouse or for employees or what have you, and then this really inefficient 70s era two-story garage that we don't have any solar over, and you think about just those 2 square blocks alone where they reside in the downtown area with SMUD infrastructure that's existing literally across the street. If you think about it in terms of that scale versus individual buildings and what that potential offers, I think we quite frankly, we ought to be thinking in those terms for the future of the area, not the future of an address. So I've got a motion on the floor and a second, and I think it's worthwhile to give this further consideration before it comes back before the board.
All right, so we will proceed with
And Supervisors,
do we need-
just make sure I understand. So when your motion includes continuing the project, at least the intent of the project to go out and look at our different buildings, whether it's Willdan or any other person that bids on it. Also to go back and look at the buildings that we are actually considering. 2 of the buildings that come to mind that will be here in 25 years is probation and animal care, and DTEC were all built about the same time. So those are 2 other buildings that I believe will be here in 25 years. I'm not sure that this building will be here in 25 years, but we don't know.
I think we said that 25 years ago.
Well, we definitely said that for the next door building. I think that was 50 years ago we said that. And it's still here, and this is called our new admin building versus our old admin building. I would like not to have a date because I think as we change the scope and project, we may need some more time to pull that together. And then the last thing, I will personally call the SMUD executive director and find out why SMUD cannot accept solar in the metropolitan area, but can do it very well in the ag land. So I'll get you an answer for that. So if I understand that correctly,
the only addition I would make is, and it's really just a footnote to the motion, is please involve my office. I would like to have some hands-on on this, and maybe it's my last straw. I don't know, but I think we can do better. I'll just put it that way.
And thank you all for your input.
I vaguely remember when Coyote Creek was before us, and we talked, and there was a question about why do we not take more solars onto many more, like 100 locations instead of one area. And I remember infrastructure cost was one of the factors of why it would not be profitable. So I just remember infrastructure costs.
And I think the infrastructure is a big piece. On the EV chart, our electric vehicles, the infrastructure is always the thing that handicaps us in rolling that out even more. So
yeah. Okay. And did we get public comments?
I do want to make sure I gave the online people a chance. Anyone online who would like to address the supervisors on item 45, the contract for a pilot energy savings performance contract with Willdan Energy Solutions, now's the time to raise your virtual hand. And we have no request to speak online and no in-person comment for this item.
All right, roll call vote.
All right. Supervisor Cerna.
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hume.
Aye.
And Chair Rodriguez.
Aye.
The motion to continue passes 4-0 with Supervisor Kennedy absent.
Okay, well, thank you very much for answering the questions.
Yeah, we appreciate the thoughtful discussion, and we're happy to continue to support the county in evaluating and exploring opportunities. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Next item, please.
The next item on our agenda is number 46. That is the presentation for Assembly Bill 2561 and Government Code Section 3502.3.
Good morning. Joe Angelo, Director of Personnel Services, delighted to present some very positive news on our annual report of the status of vacancies, recruitment, and retention efforts in Sacramento County. Principally, the key metric for this bill requires us to report out on those unions that have vacancies in excess of 20%. We got some very positive news there as well. So first up, we're going to talk about our positions. About 13,000 positions that are budgeted in the county, about 1,100 of which are vacant, resulting in a vacancy rate of 8.59%. A very favorable rate. Anything less than 10 is considered a stable workforce. And that's reflecting a decline, a positive decline, from 2 years ago when we were at 12.3%. So a very positive improvement in that space. And the number we've all been waiting for, I'm very pleased to report that we had 166 career fairs in all 5 districts, targeted hiring events across the county. We teach a class called Pathway to County Service, which helps navigate the civil service process. And then our efforts in the social media space, all improving in a positive direction. And the number we've all been waiting for, how many departments had 20% or more? The answer is 0. In addition to the increased digital marketing and recruiting efforts that we did, and the updated hiring procedures that we did in the new ticketing system and exam request process, 0 bargaining units had 20% or more vacancies in the county. So kudos to all departments in Sacramento County. And for your reading pleasure, here's a delineation of all the bargaining units and their respective vacancy rates across the county. And that concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
One moment, Joe. Supervisor Cerna.
Thank you. Thank you for the brief presentation. The issue of vacancies is, I think, proportionally of interest to all of us the closer we approach to budgetary crisis, right? And we oftentimes, almost flippantly sometimes say, well, we'll balance a budget on the backs of vacancies. It's a fairly common practice in local government. You mentioned, Joe, that the 8.59% current vacancy rate is a healthy one. But is it healthy relative to where we find ourselves compared to what the budget is and what it's expected to be in 27, 28?
That's a very good question, Supervisor. And I would actually encourage departments who have historically held vacancies to continue doing so, because it is a reality that we face.
And then, this is pretty cursory in terms of just really targeting the dynamics of vacancies. What can you inform the board about and the public as it relates to attrition, turnover, the kind of the health metric of the vacancy rate? Does that assume to incorporate the fact that you need to have some vacancy in there to be able to attract new workforce while others are retiring or leaving for other reasons? I assume it does. And then how do you balance that all against the fact that there's not going to be much left to consider cutting if necessary next year in terms of vacancies to balance the budget?
Yeah, very good question, Supervisor. I think it's not coincidental that we're seeing a decline from 12% a couple years ago, but as departments are starting to relinquish those vacancies in support of reducing the budget, they're left in the position of having to fill certain level of positions. They've given up as many of the vacancies as they can, and now they're just trying to sustain and operate. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be very difficult. But again, I would encourage departments to continue their best wherever possible to try and salvage as many vacancies as they can given our budget situation.
And then lastly, on just the general subject of vacancies, I think it's important not to lose sight of the fact that our mission is superior customer service. And that's across the board, all departments. There's going to be a connection, especially as the sensitivity gets acute relative to the budget situation, that vacancies and its impact on morale, its impact on the ability of individual departments, and they're all different, but they're all committed to superior customer service, and how they deliver that service. And then you're starting to look at things like caseload and equity for our employees. So what is this story telling us today about what could be expected? And I won't be here. I might be watching, but I won't be here at the dais next year relative to the simultaneous missions to, always enhance and provide superior customer service, be cognizant of what's fair to our employees and what's contractually obligated, mm-hmm. right? All those things are coming to a head. Mm-hmm. So while this is a great presentation, it just kind of leaves me with a couple of metrics that I'm trying to navigate to kind of understand where we're going.
Yeah, so to the extent that, again, I wouldn't anticipate that further reductions will be coming this year and that departments will be asked to make similar reductions. So they're left in the unenviable position of having to fill the position and get the work done. But by not filling it necessarily, that may impact those employees who remain to pick up that workload. And that can in turn cause stress in the workplace. So it's a very difficult balancing act, but one that we have to navigate mm-hmm. in order to keep the lights on, to keep providing services in the aggregate to our community. So it's not an easy chore, but I've got every confidence in our department heads to meet that objective.
All right. Thank you.
Joe, have we started to implement the possibility of AI increasing efficiency that can help with the workloads that are being created by having a shortage of staff?
Yeah, I can tell. That's an excellent question. We've partnered with DTEC on several projects, and we are super excited about some of the AI tools that are out there. And we just literally onboarded one just recently, and we're wrapping another one up in another division probably by the end of the year. But those are innovations that DPS and other departments are wrapping their arms around, and we're challenging current employees to look at what they do on a regular basis. Is there anything that can be done to streamline, to optimize? As we roll out these new AI tools, what I want to challenge my department is, how do you leverage that new technology that employment services may be rolling out, that employee relations may be rolling out, that department services may be rolling out? How does your job dovetail into that new technology and save us money? That's where we are right now, and it's exciting. And we're going to be providing those metrics down the road as well.
Oh, good. I was going to ask about that. Are you finding that county staff are open to a paradigm shift of increasing efficiency using technology?
We're there now.
Okay.
We've purchased the technology. Staff is excited. And they're excited because we lost positions last year, and we're probably going to lose more this year. And the staff have just been fabulous. They've stepped up. They recognize the significant budgetary position that we're in, and they're willing to meet us where we are. And we thank them every single day for that sacrifice. And they're leaning into this technology as a relief. Wow, this can save me 6 or 7 hours worth of work. Okay, that means that those 3 other desks that are not filled, okay, I can pick up some of that work. So we're working together. They're seeing where we are, we're seeing where they are, and I think we're getting to a better place.
That's great. And so how long has that been implemented into the department?
We just sealed the contract like a month ago, James.
Oh, wow. That's
they
great.
left me here. Okay. What'd you say? We're in implementation now.
That is amazing.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Yeah,
We're
that's good.
super excited.
I think most organizations are not very welcoming because it's fearful. Am I going to lose my job at the expense of technology? But when people know that if you can increase efficiency, there's still room, and there's so many other jobs that will still require somebody to do something.
And the other thing too, we wrap our arms around this work. I require all my managers in DPS to have 5-year succession plans. We want to know what every employee in DPS wants to do, and we want to be a support for them. So we want to have this collaborative exchange and relationship. And we'd rather give up those vacant positions than a filled position. We're very transparent about that, that this is a shared partnership. And I think it's working for us. I hope it's working for my team. I think the feedback is positive.
So you mentioned DPS, but what about other departments?
Well, I know that DTEC has been a partner of ours in this space since we started this journey. And I know that they've talked about many other AI initiatives that their department have launched, and many others are considering. So I would venture to say that we're not alone in this space.
Do you know how many departments in the county are implementing some form of AI?
I know DTEC is.
DPS?
DPS. Anybody?
And we're now planning, Supervisor Sylvester, for our planning is also looking into implementing AI. We can have Rami put together a list of all the departments that are currently exploring AI.
Yeah, that would be great.
We're actively looking into it. We've got our foot on the gas pedal as it relates to AI implementation, so we're excited about that.
It's definitely one of the ways that we can get ahead of it, and then as we deal with some of these challenges, we're not going to go. I mean, it could potentially keep us from falling into a crisis state.
I agree.
In a year or two.
And very quickly, Joe is actually underselling one of the critical piece he's implementing on his team, the classification and compensation analysis process that typically takes 6 weeks?
Weeks, months.
It's going to be on average?
Days, hours,
a couple of hours to pull
That's
data.
awesome.
So it's going to be outstanding.
Yeah, game changer.
That's awesome.
And staff are excited. They're learning new technology, they're implementing, and they use that data to get knowledge to implement. So it helps everybody.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most powerful tools that I have seen in my lifetime. That is just great.
Yeah, it's fabulous. James didn't want to get it, but I told him we had to, so he's.
Yeah.
It's actually the other way around. He told me we had to get it.
That's great. Mr. Villanueva?
I'd just like to add, thank you, Supervisor. I'd just like to add, I actually had a conversation about AI with our CIO yesterday. Just happened to run into him and ask him exactly along the lines that you're asking about. And he provided a couple of examples. We have done countywide a policy AI tool, and we've also are looking at some other tools that'll help us eliminate, to be more pointed on some of the tasks we have to actually analyze the data and pull information out to look at what are the exceptions versus a random check on different services. So I would say that all departments are investing in this. And while it's not necessarily on topic, but in the efficiencies topic, Joe and Matt from Water Resources, the two of them lead an efficiencies group that we put together. Started probably about the first of the year, and they're looking at all sorts of efficiency, not just the AI, but whether it's phones or there's a whole list of things that they have. And we're teeing them up to come do a presentation to the board to show some of the things that we're doing to save money that aren't very obvious, whether they're lines for networking lines and getting efficiencies and cost savings on that, phone lines. I mean, there's just a whole host of things that we can do to save monies here and there, but overall saving the county money as a whole. So AI is absolutely a great one. It does cost money to implement AI. We have it on many of the desktops in the departments, whether it's a Microsoft version. We just got the Grok, which is a different version, and there's a third one. There's 3 of them that we're looking at to bring forward. So AI on the desktop is also helping. You can sometimes read those in people's emails. They're a little bit more fluffier sometimes, but they are helping them write more efficiently, whether it's board letters and things like that. So there's a whole host of opportunities. I would just, as folks are listening to this, make sure you check the information, because sometimes there's phantom things that happens with AI. So that's also available too.
Yeah, as Joe was talking, I was thinking of 311, where, you've got a big group of staffing, and there are things that could eventually end up increasing efficiency and reducing costs. And it's an investment into the AI, but in the long run, what you're not paying are SCRs and some of the high costs that come with staffing.
I believe we've already implemented AI in 311, and I thought we did a presentation to the board, but maybe I might have that confused.
On AI?
On the efficiencies within 311 and how they're using
but I'm talking about
the
AI.
voice agents from AI.
Yeah.
So we can absolutely make sure we hit on that and bring that back.
That's great.
But very good ideas. Thank you.
And just for a point of reference, the 2 technology systems are Holly and Sedalis that we'll be using in DPS.
Okay. All right. Supervisor Desmond, are there any questions or comments? No? Okay. Are there any requests to speak on this item?
Yes, we do have an in-person request to speak, and anyone online who would like to speak on this item, number 46, Assembly Bill 2561, Government Code 3502.3 presentation. Now is the time to raise your virtual hand. First
Good morning,
up,
Ted.
We have Ted Samara.
Good morning. Interesting on your views of AI. Sad. I'll just say that, and I'll keep my comments for a different day on AI.
No, you can more than welcome to share
I only
comments.
got 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right? Because you guys also, I remember there was a time you got 3 minutes, but maybe AI will bring that back. So, vacancies, it's misleading. Departments have been cutting positions for years. You have less doing more. I think I filled this chambers last summer and my members spoke on that. And it's going to continue to happen. All right. With less folks to provide services, you're going to continue to see increases of delayed response times when it comes to issuing benefits, when it comes to social workers going out and visiting families, when it comes to folks trying to pay their bills. You open up the budget for the Sheriff's Department. For those that voted for it, well, you had your reasons to do so. Maybe they instilled a little concern and fear in you. But the fear should be when you have a child that goes hungry, or a family going without resources because they can't see a worker. You should have concerns as you're elected to help protect those folks and service them. So it shouldn't be lost on anybody. And it's going to get worse, as you know, with the budget going to be in much worse condition come next year. And so I ask you to look down upon those folks and look them in the eye. Don't look down on them. And promise them that you will provide them the staffing needs that they need to get the services that they so are needed to survive. I'm lost for words how, no matter what, you could put pig on or lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. And that's what it looks like here. They can sit here and say everything looks so wonderful, but it's not. Talk to the workers. Ask them what they think about AI. The workers. Not the ones that are being forced to do AI, but those that are saying it's coming because it's not going to be able to provide those services. All right, next thing you know, when they want to talk to a real person, they're going to be connected to someone in India. Is that the kind of county you want to run? Lastly, Supervisor Desmond, I appreciate you being online. I know Supervisor Cerna has been online in years past. And so, I was telling my son the other day, he said, Dad, what would you take? A 68 Chevy Stepside or one of those new, VN trucks or Ferrari trucks? I told him I'd take a 68 Stepside because it's made with real steel. That's our generation and that's our work ethics. So I appreciate you being here as well as you, Supervisor Cerna, being online.
Thank you, Ted. All right, this is a received presentation, no action needed. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, well, that concludes our morning session, and we are adjourning to closed session. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We will now resume the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, July 28th. Would the clerk please call the roll to reestablish a quorum?
Certainly. Supervisor Kennedy is absent today. Supervisor Desmond?
Here.
Vice Chair Hume?
Here.
Supervisor Cerna?
Here.
And Chair Rodriguez?
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Next item.
The next item on our agenda is number 47. This is the Morvai Singh subdivision vesting map, a specific plan amendment, rezone vesting tentative subdivision map, and design review for a property located at 9494 Florin Road.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair Rodriguez and members of the board. My name is Christopher Alberts. I'm Associate Planner here at Sacramento County and the lead planner for the Morvai Singh vesting map. The project is located in the Vineyard community near the intersection of Waterman Road and Florin Road. Surrounding land uses include approved and recorded Morvai subdivisions to the east, west, and north, and a future school site to the south. As I noted on the previous slide, the Morvai Singh subdivision is adjacent to several other Morvai subdivisions, but what makes the Morvai Singh subdivision unique is that it serves as the final connection between the surrounding subdivisions, providing that east and west connectivity and helping integrate the surrounding subdivisions into a more cohesive neighborhood. So essentially acts like a missing piece to the puzzle. This here is a copy of the vesting tentative subdivision map. There are 53 single-family lots being proposed, as well as 2 landscape lots, which are lots A and B, and 2 bioswale lots as lots C and D. The entitlements being requested today are a specific plan amendment, a rezone, a vesting tentative subdivision map, and a design review. The project was heard by the Vineyard Community Planning Advisory Committee, the Design Review Advisory Committee, as well as Planning Commission, who all voted in support of the project. The project is consistent with all applicable policies and development standards in the general plan, specific plan, and zoning code. Another thing I would like to note is that during the review process, staff did identify minor possibility that the project would require a special development permit to deviate from the interior side yard setbacks, depending on SMUD's easement requirements. Because staff recognized the issue early and because the deviation would be minimal, we developed a forward-looking condition of approval that allows a deviation to be addressed through a substantial compliance determination. This administrative pathway is significantly faster and more efficient than a special development permit, which now reduces the potential application time and avoiding a lengthier discretionary process. The condition documenting the streamlined approach is included in the conditions of approval as condition number 11. With all that said, now staff recommends the Board of Supervisors take the following actions. Recognize the project is statutorily exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act. Adopt a mitigation monitoring and reporting program. Adopt a resolution amending the North Vineyard Station specific plan. Adopt an ordinance authorizing a rezone. Approve a vesting tentative subdivision map subject to findings and conditions, and find the project in substantial compliance with design guidelines subject to findings and conditions. That concludes my presentation. Myself and applicant team are here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, Christopher. Supervisor Cerna?
Thank you for the presentation. Christopher, is this your first time presenting in front of the board?
Yes.
Good job, but you got to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine there was 5 of you guys.
To follow up on that, I want you to put your fingers like this. Breathe through your nose.
Just shake it out. Shake it
Just
out.
relax. You got through
Okay.
it. Thank you. That was a great presentation.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, there are no questions from the Board of Supervisors. Are there any requests to
I feel
speak?
like we should think up a couple.
I
Like, according to the Water Rights Act of 1914.
Any member of the public that would like to address the supervisors on agenda item 47, the Morvai Singh subdivision vesting map, now's the time to raise your virtual hand. We have no request to speak online and no in-person request to speak.
Okay, I will entertain a motion.
If the applicant is foregoing a presentation, I would move staff recommendation. Do I need to go through each item, or can I do it all as a lump sum? Lump sum motion for all 6 items.
I'll second it just because Christopher did such a darn good job.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Cerna.
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hume.
Aye.
And Chair Rodriguez.
Aye.
Item 47 passes 4-0 with Supervisor Kennedy absent.
I do have Mr. Villanueva in the queue.
I just wanted to thank the board for taking such a light approach to Christopher's. We were talking about the same thing over here, and I think he did a great job. But it means a lot when staff come up for the first time, and the reaction that you guys have to them, it builds us. We talked earlier about vacancies and succession planning, and this is a key portion of that. So thank you for your support of the new staff coming forward.
All right, next item, please.
Item 48 is next on our agenda. That is the approval of the 2025 annual reports for the Antelope, Arden Arcade, Carmichael, Florin Road, Fulton Avenue, and Watt Avenue property and business improvement districts, and provide for the levy of assessments for fiscal year 2026-27.
Okay, I'm going to take the advice you gave to Chris, who did a good job. He's still here. Good afternoon, Chair Rodriguez, members of the board. My name is Vanessa Lieberman, and I'm your manager of special districts in the Community Development Department. And I used to be blonde. That is a very old picture. Just keeping you guessing. The item before you today is a request for approval of the annual reports for our 6 property and business improvement districts, as well as the approval of resolutions authorizing the levy of assessments for each PBID for FY 2026-27. Our PBID executive directors are here in the audience, and they'll be speaking on behalf of their districts. So at this time, I would like to invite Executive Director Jason Wint from our 80-watt PBID up to the podium.
Someone that does not need to loosen up.
Good afternoon, Jason.
Yes. Thank you.
Now, we have time limits on these this year, right?
Yes, sir. Carly has a hook ready to take me off at any moment here. So, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. And definitely want to express the joy of seeing you on the mend, Supervisor Desmond. It's really good to see you. I don't know which camera, but I see your picture here, so I'm looking this way. So really good to see you, and just happy that you're doing well and doing better. My name is Jason Wendt, Executive Director, 80 Watt Partnership. I'll get right into it. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay. Footprint. Assessments of $621,757. Had some unassessed funds in there. Brought us to about $653 in usable funds that we use. We have a $16 million square foot, or 16 million square foot location. Security budget, we did about 66% of that at $432,307. Maintenance, 135, 20%. As many of you know, last year we had to change our allocations. It used to be 50% and 16%. It wasn't enough, so we had to change. Thank you to Civitas for their assistance in that, so that we can make sure we maintain a balanced budget. Marketing and advocacy, 0.6%, and the capital improvements, 4.3%, administration and contingency. So let's talk about the highlights. We have 204 parcels. The majority were industrial commercial area. So we have industrial 60%, we have that commercial at 19%. Of course, we have some fast food in there, and then some hotels and retail. And then there are some exempt locations in there that we don't get any levies from. So service impacts, here's where the meat and potatoes is. As far as our security, we dispatched about 971 calls for service. That means someone called and said, help me, help me, help me. That is, oh, thank you. You're just there. Thank you. That means someone called and said, please help me. That is down significantly. Now, we did switch operators, so there may be a little bit of a difference in how they reported, but that's a 55% decrease. So in that, as far as maintenance and safety issues, those also went down. We're 133, last year was 272. So we're headed in the right direction, I believe, in those areas. Trespasses, we're pretty level there, about the same. With regards to these are some of the hot areas, right? We care about the response time, people feeling that there's public safety. The main reason that PBIT exists is safety and cleanliness. So we want to make sure people are feeling that they're getting their money's worth, as it were. Now, as far as the second portion, right? We talked about safety, now the cleanliness, the maintenance. We had 29 tons of trash removed last year. Graffiti was pretty neutral with what we removed. Hazardous items, about 155 hazardous items. That's down from 228 last year, so we're in the right direction here. This one's interesting. 903 shopping carts. There's a lot of shopping carts. We all know the shopping carts for unhoused is not a shopping cart. It's a van, it's a bus, it's a whatever it is, for what they're using to gather the things and travel with it.
One
and
moment,
it's
Jason.
a constant thing.
One moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Supervisor Sarno?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Before you leave the slide,
Yes, sir.
Jason, as it relates to safety, can you elaborate a little bit about how your participating property owners know or are educated about what observations they see that they should call your private security force for versus our sheriff's department?
That's a fantastic question. I wish I would have brought some of those materials to actually put up here to show everyone. We actually have what I call the who to call list, and it shows the various numbers, and it's actually made these, as a window cling that can go in all the businesses. And they're double-sided so that both people outside and employees can see them, and it has all those numbers on there. It has the non-emergency numbers. It has the number to the hot team, the pop team, email addresses, and such. What we're also now doing, supplementary to that, is we're doing a when to call to go with that. So here's all the numbers that care in the district. You have every single person, if there's encampments, if there's, obviously 911 is 911, so in the heat of it and adrenaline is flowing, it can be difficult to know what to do. Right next to it, we want to know when to call. When is it actually just a 311 call and it's not the sheriff at all? Mm-hmm. Sometimes that is also the case. And when is it supposed to be sheriff instead of 311? When is it code enforcement? So we're trying to make it where we just hold their hand. Here's all the numbers are compiled in one place, and here is a list that says when to exercise said numbers. So we're going to be releasing that out. We're actually actively working on that second component now.
What would be of interest, I won't be here next year, but it may be of interest to my colleagues, is I think the public would want to know if you can provide as a data point the number of what would otherwise be calls for dispatch of a sheriff's deputy that didn't result in the dispatch of a sheriff's deputy and rather was completely handled by your private security force. In other words, a surrogate for cost savings to the county, to the taxpayers. I think that would be a useful data point, I think, in the future.
That's a point, sir. Point. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Any other questions before I proceed? All right, well, we're almost getting ready to wrap up here. I want to make a case in point. This is interesting. The Walmart that's in our particular district is one of the highest grossing Walmarts in the region on the West Coast. They just did a grand opening last week. Completely remodeled. It looks beautiful. One of the things that they've also done, and I actually talked with the manager who's been very involved within the PBID, is their shopping carts are chipped with GPS in them. I never knew that was a thing. So this is the reason why. 903 shopping carts is just us. They already have their guy, but we 10x'd how much their guy was doing just because we're just out there every day. So we are looking forward to seeing what that does, is the amount of the littered shopping carts everywhere, that they're going to have someone that's going to go out at scale, track them down because they're stolen property essentially, and then reclaim those carts. I don't know what the logistics means, if they're filled with something or if they're in an encampment, because there's safety issues and other things there. But case in point, we will just find out next year. I'll report on how that has worked with regards to chipped carts. I've never heard of Walmart doing that. Maybe we're a beta test. I don't know. But I'm interested in getting back to you on that. And then obviously we have tires. We have those things. We are actually up in tires just a little bit. We have had, as of late, an influx of new visitors coming from various areas, whether different cities and other states, apparently, that are showing up. So challenges and opportunities as we wrap up here, and thank you for your time. The increased pressure from the illegal dumping and transit activities continues to test our capacity to keep up with it. Our chair said, Jason, man, I might have underestimated just how difficult it is to keep up with all the trash. How do we deal with the trash? So, well, sir, we have to find out what's causing the trash. And when you help solve that issue, it will, by default, lower that as well. So we have the safe stay that's coming up. We have some other measures that are happening. When there's less people out doing those, having access to littering, then there won't be as much littering because they won't be out there. They'll be in a home or some sort of housing situation, getting better and getting themselves straightened out a little bit more. We want to recruit more board members because I like to say it's not the I and me, it's the us and we. It's I can't do it alone. We all have to do it together. And so, we want to make sure that we have more board members. We have up to 13 that we can have. We, at this point, are down to 5. Not for any bad reasons, just people move on or get a promotion. They get moved from a job. They're out of the district. And our bylaws say they can't be a board director, so they're forced out. All right, and then as far as new chapters, really excited. I was really happy to stand next to Supervisor Desmond and do a complete streets ribbon cutting. That was amazing. We have businesses that are opening. We have freshly banners that I was able to design and get approved by the board. And if you drive down Watt Avenue, you'll see some of them up, and it's really nice. That is good because it tells people we care. This is our district. Let's market it, let's make it nice, and let's make it beautiful. Successes. Significant decreases, again, thanks to the law enforcement and coordination with the HOT team, POP team, special community prosecution. There is an overall decrease in some of these larger cases that have been kind of plaguing Watt Avenue for generations, and we're going to continue to fight that fight. Community engagement has gone up. Sometimes we have standing room only at our safety meetings. That's a positive problem, I like to say. When I got to get chairs from the foyer, that's great. Keep people involved. And then lastly, additional fundings. We have, thanks to Kelly Sechrist from the Department of Sanitation, we have our vouchers where we don't have to worry about tip fees. The guys can just go as often as they need to, just gather trash and then go get it taken care of. So we really appreciate that. Goals 26, 27, as I wrap up the final page here, which we are living in now. The TOT grant obviously was one of those big ones. And I want to pause for a second. I don't know which camera you're on, Supervisor Desmond. Thank you very much for your recommendation. For that $5,000. It's going to be very, very instrumental in helping us. We had a beta test. You guys have heard this before, where we had cameras that were trailer cameras up, and it was a beta test. The crime went down when people realized those were not fake. It was real, and they were getting arrested, and things were happening. The little bees were saying, hey, don't do it, watt's too hot, back off, and it worked. When the beta was over, the crime slowly went back up. So we're looking forward to having permanent cameras in there, and whether it's going to be Flock or Fusus or Bricada or whatever system we're using, we want to be able to have that access so that way we can maintain safety and security in the district. And then obviously the community connection, the safe stay, we're really excited. That's one of the last big ones to happen for us, is to have that opening up. We're really looking forward to that and what it could mean. If it works all together the way it should, which I believe it will, boy, will it be a positive impact. And boy, will it be nice to have that resource right there. Watt can be known for a place that people actually get help, not places where people get hurt and get lost and have issues. Thank you. I will end it with one quote. I made this up, and I think it's awesome. And it's one of the things that I am you, you are me, and we are us together. All right, thanks.
Jason, can I just share a couple comments? Aside from when I see you, I want to take a selfie. I also always want to let you know that I love your energy and I love what you bring to your PBID. And you always demonstrate that you really care and you do a very good job at what you do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Supervisor Desmond.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And yeah, Jason, first, I just want to thank you for your enthusiasm, your engagement in the district. The property owners are very lucky to have you, someone who's so devoted to making that district a better place. Couple questions. First, Supervisor Stern, I think that's actually a really great point about that data on calls and how that impacts calls that would otherwise go to the Sheriff's Department. I'd like to follow up with that, maybe with economic development, because I think we should try to understand that data from all the PBIDs a little better and how that might inform future decision making. Jason, I did have a question for you on the, you mentioned a lot of people, you're seeing people from out of town, other locations. Where is that coming from? Is that your own data that you generate or from the HOT team or what?
Yes, sir. It's coming from both. So I interface with Trident Security Operations, who's our security operator. And what we do every month is we have a top offender list that we always go through. People that we see a lot, they cause repeated issues. We're seeing a whole new list. This last time, half the list was all new faces all at once. And they're out there saying, wow, we don't know who this person is or where they're coming from. When some of them engage and we'll tell them, yeah, I'm all the way here from Colorado, or I'm from Arizona. Oh yeah, I'm here from the Bay Area. A lot of Bay Area. And that part is coming from POP. I was running my rounds. One of the locations had 3 or 4 units. I said, hey, gentlemen, everything going okay? And then I asked these questions. I said, yeah, we've got a lot of these guys coming from the Bay Area. And then I also, because my office, as you know, is on the top of a bank building at Safe Credit Union, I see a lot of the business owners that come and go. One of them walked up to me and just said, wow, they're more aggressive. There's people who are coming from the Bay Area. One of the hotel operators was mentioning that to me, that he had observed these things. And so I just inquired casually about that. So that's kind of where I'm getting it, sir.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. And I think that is an issue that I brought up many, many times from the dais, that, look, we have to acknowledge folks who are coming from outside of Sacramento and the impact that has on us. We're trying to provide resources for folks. You know, the 80-watt PBID, you are uniquely situated because I know it's a very challenged corridor. You know, it's called the Blade for a reason. It's you know, ground zero for human trafficking. And there are a lot of challenges there. And I know you have a lot to work through. And I just, last thing I want to say is I so much appreciate your partnership and your openness when it comes to that Watt Avenue Safe Stay. I think you understand the vision that the county is trying to bring to fruition there, and the fact that that will be a facility that will help an enormous amount of people while also helping the surrounding neighbors and business owners along that corridor. And we have to all be engaged in it and work on it to make sure it works well for everybody. So thank you very much, Jason.
Thank you. I am you, you are me, and we are us together. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Chris.
Hi there. How are you? I'm Chris Evans. I'm the Executive Director of the Antelope Property Business Improvement District. I'm sorry Supervisor Kennedy isn't here today. You know, about 3 years ago when we did this, if you remember, there was a technical glitch, and I promised that whenever we had a technical glitch, I'd bring my sock puppets. And we haven't had a chance to do it yet. And so this year I was going to just do sock puppets. And about a week ago, I got a email, and it was like a really nice email from CSS Partners, and they were saying like, hey, how you doing? Did you get the template for the PowerPoint? Did you send it back yet? Because it's like 3 days late. And so I wrote them back very nicely and just said, hey, no PowerPoint, I'm doing sock puppets. And about 2 minutes later, I got a text saying like, LOL, brah ha 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 ha, your thing said sock puppets. And about a minute later, I text back and said, yeah, I'm going to be doing sock puppets. I mean, I even brought them. About 30 seconds later, I got a phone call from Tracy. And Tracy said, you can't do sock puppets. So Supervisor Kennedy, I was going to disappoint him today, but he's not here. So I still cannot do the sock puppets. The third year in a row I can't do them, and I apologize. And Tracy called my wife, and my wife told me I had to read this statement. I apologize to the board for discussing sock puppets. Okay. Antelope Property Business Improvement District. We are there. We're doing great. Everything's going good in our district. Rochelle, our chairman of the board, wanted to be here today, but unfortunately, she couldn't, and this actually coincides to her last day as chairman of the board. And Paul Bajwa, who is the owner of the Arco at the corner of Walurga and Elkhorn, is going to take over and be our chairman of the board. We now have a full board. One of the things we did find during the review is we needed to get a little bit stronger board, and we have had people step up, so that was very helpful. District highlights. Assessed budget is $339,000. Our district's about 7 million square feet. 80% of our money goes into security. And Supervisor Cerna, we track everything. When we call the Sheriff's Department and they come, we track that. When they don't come, we track that. When we have to release somebody because we timed out, we track that. So we have all those numbers, and we've had them for the last 4 or 5 years if you ever need them. And that's something we track religiously because we're very proud of the fact that we average 7 to 9 phone calls a day that Sacramento County sworn law enforcement officers don't have to take. Even today, when we were driving through the district, I can name virtually every single one of the regular homeless individuals, quote unquote, drug addicts that we have in the district, and we try to work with them. So we spend most of our money on security, maintenance. You know our maintenance program and what we're doing there. I know Supervisor Rodriguez, you had a chance to come out and see what we're doing. It's kind of exciting that we're actually, within our district, we're doing maintenance with homeless individuals from within the district, and it's really starting to generate some interest, and we're hopefully reaching out to 80 Watt here very soon to where we might be able to tie some of the maintenance programs together because the districts are right next to each other. So we're very excited about that. Property types, we have 112 parcels. We are heavy into branding. One reason we had such a high renewal when we renewed 2 years ago was because everything we do is branded. When people come through the doors of the stores, they know they're part of the ABC district. When our maintenance team is working in the district, they know it's the ABC district. When it's security, and they're all branded the same way. Our property owners never have to question, why do I pay this assessment? They know that because we interact with them on a daily basis. Our security team reaches out to at least 3 businesses every day, and we have 112, so they know our security team on a first-name basis. We have 2 liquor stores, and interestingly enough, that's a good chunk of the majority of the calls. And because it's just after-hours calls, all come from after-hours locations. And that's really where the problem comes. 2,500 dispatch calls, about 112 average a month, 3,600 public relations visits. And again, that's because we insist on the maintenance team being part of our outreach team at the same time. The other thing about our maintenance team is not only do most of the merchants know them and they know the merchants, but they, again, know most of the homeless individuals in the area. They know people who need help. And we can even tell people who are getting help and those who aren't, and those who have been on the path to recovery and aren't, just by the interaction we have with them throughout the district. We moved about 202,000 pounds, about 101 tons of trash. We average 1,250 pounds a week behind the Bel Air Shopping Center every single Monday. We put cameras behind there. The new program where if you drop trash off and you can get them on camera. I know Dean Broussard, you all know Dean from Night Watch Security. His daughter's turned in 3 or 4 people, and that's been a wonderful program to slow some of that down, because if you get them on camera and you get the license, you can get $500, and that's been very helpful. Hazardous waste items, and interestingly enough, needles have kicked back up again, and I want to say that's within the last 4 or 5 months. We've seen a tremendous upkick in the number of needles we're seeing throughout the district.
Chris, is there a specific protocol when you find needles?
Sure. Yeah, they absolutely handle them completely differently. They have to handle them as hazmat, so they go through a whole different routine when they pick up needles, with pickers and a different bucket.
That's what your team does?
Absolutely, yeah. And all our team, by the way, again, one of the things we've done with the maintenance team is they've all become certified in crime prevention through environmental design, SEPTED certification. And that's because I'm a certified instructor, so we just teach them as they go. So all of our team, when they're looking at properties, next time you drive up Walurga, particularly above Elkhorn, I'd like you to look to the left and the right, and you'll see all of the trees from the ground 8 feet higher are clear. One thing you do is when you remove all the brushes underneath and every place where everybody can hide and camp, guess what they stop doing? Hiding and camping. So you don't have to get hostile with people. You don't have to have a problem. You just need to crime prevention through environmental design. You have to look at things like natural surveillance, mechanized locks, things like that that are going to control where the public is and things you can do. And our entire team learns that and gets certified in SEPTED certification. So then if they go on to be a landscaper, they can make more money. Homeless addiction and public safety, that's what we deal with all day long. And we continue to strengthen that and work to help those people. I really feel like our district, for the first 5 years, we concentrated completely on security and maintenance. And we got it under control. It's a small district, it's 3.5 miles long. We pretty much got that in control. I think you saw that. And now that we've been through the renewal, my board's expanded and we're starting to reach out to some of these people and start changing some lives. We've secured the district and now we can reach out and start helping some people. We have a brand new relationship with the Greater North Sacramento Chamber of Commerce. They've stepped in and created a whole new region where they're going to concentrate in this area. And there's 3 or 4 new board members on that board from this region. So we see some very great economic growth happening here, some things happening with the businesses and with the PBID. And the last big project we really could use, and something that would help my district immensely, believe it or not, is we don't have a solid sidewalk from one end of the district to the other. We're missing about 100 yards of sidewalk. If we can get 100 yards of sidewalk on one side of Walurga, you can go from one end of the district to the other safely and never have to worry about cars getting kind of close to you as you're walking by.
Chris, I want to give you some feedback. We do business walks. My special assistants go out to our businesses in the district, and there is so much positive feedback from the businesses in your PBID about the management, about you, about the organization, about the cleanliness. And so I want to share that with you, that it is, we always go to them with how can we help you do better business, but the responses have always been the support they get from the PBID.
Wonderful. We got some great businesses, and our Rite Aid, which has been empty, is now going to be Taja Pantry, Indian basically food, grocery store and restaurant, and then the Family Dollar bookstore, which has been empty for about a year, is going to be a grocery store focusing on Indian foods. And so both of those are currently under permit. Anybody in the Sacramento County who can help them with their licensing, listen up. Well, we'd love to get those approved and through so they can get those businesses open.
Well, if they ever encounter delays, they can always contact our office, and we'd be more than happy to partner with the department. Supervisor Cerna?
Thank you. Chris, can you repeat what you said before the line of questioning about the sidewalk?
Oh, I said in my district, we have only one patch where you can't go from the south end of the district to the north end on a sidewalk. There's a patch where there's no sidewalk.
What's the length approximately?
About 100 yards.
Is
one piece of property, one property owner.
Okay. Dave DeFonte, is this an area, and maybe the chair knows this, it's her district, but where the economic condition of the area makes it a viable consideration to use community development block grant funding to possibly put that on a list?
It very well may. That's something we'd have to confirm with SHRA, but I've already noted this issue. This is something I'm going to be following up with DOT on.
Okay. Well, certainly I want to be supportive of the needs of our residents when it comes to things like essential safe pedestrian paths, and certainly in the context of it making things safer and more enjoyable relative to our business corridors. But of course, I think we all share the same opinion. If we can do it without dipping into general fund, that would be optimal.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's important.
yeah, it's great what you learn from just having conversations here, because, yeah, that's something I'll definitely follow up with.
All right, so kind of wrapping up things, we are looking to a banner program later in the year to kind of more target the district and more identify what the Antelope Business Community District is. Interestingly enough, one of the questions you might have about security, if I can just go back to that for 1 second, is one of the problems we found this last year that we had is our security is very, very good within our district, which means we're causing a problem right on the edge of our district. And so we did a study with that particular business where with Civitas, they signed an agreement where we extended coverage for about 90 days. And during that 90 days, that business experienced a 33% growth in sales. And at the end of the 90 days, they decided they just couldn't get it through corporate, and they went back to the way they were. And as of yesterday, there was 17 people living on the back of their property. So sometimes you can lead the horse to water, but you can't even make them drink because we're not trying to cause the problem, but by turning people away, what choice do we have? So that's kind of a unique situation.
And just really quick, it was very evident when we went on the ride-along that you get to that point and you see a completely different, you see something else going on, and it's right across the street from where you're doing your work.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, in closing, I just want to say thank you. There's some of the team, some of the maintenance team. You know that we work every single day to change lives of these guys in the maintenance and gals in the maintenance team. We have some people we're really, really proud of. And just in closing, I want to say to you, Supervisor Cerna, you have been a joy to work with over all the years we've been working with you. I actually remember the first time we met. It was way back in about 2018 at the world-famous Pancake Palace on Watt Avenue. We've worked together on several projects since that time, and I certainly just want to say thank you very much. We appreciate you, and you will continue to be in mine and Rebecca's prayers. We wish you nothing but success, and thank you for your strong heart and the good things you do for this community. We appreciate you. And Rich, we're praying for you too. Don't look down, I see you there. We're praying for you too and hope you're big recovery. And the last group I just have to say thank you to this year, again, is my buddies there, Mike Middleton and all the gang here at the county that are doing such a good job at helping us with these P-bids. It's such a challenge to, get up 6 in the morning, get out there, see homeless individuals, drug addicts, help them, get them on their way, get this district clean, get things running. And we certainly couldn't do it with strong support from the county. This year we were a little bit bigger of a task than past years, but Michael handled it well, and we appreciate his help and guidance in getting this all done. So, any questions?
I don't have any questions. I just want to just reiterate how much I appreciate you and SACNAV and the coordination that you have to your PBID and helping people get off the street. And when we went on the ride-along, having met some of the individuals who had a life of homelessness and addiction, and how you help work with them to get them to a path of where they can feel they have a purpose. And so I appreciate all the work that you do. Supervisor?
That young lady you met on the ride-along, I'm going to do a selfless plug here, is actually one of the first people we're interviewing on the radio show on 1380 AM that's coming out called Hard Talk, Real Stories. And it's a new weekly show that they're going to put on, that I'll be hosting, and we're going to talk about people like that, bring their stories on, put it on the air, and they get to tell their story, and they're going to tell exactly what happened to them when they picked up the phone and they called 211 and the things they needed and the ways they needed help. And I'm excited about sharing some of the stories we run into on a daily basis every week on 1380 AM at 10 a.m., starting on August 8th.
One moment, Chris. Supervisor Cerna.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to thank you, Chris, for your leadership and your perseverance and your creativity. I think one of the things that stands out about you, and I mean absolutely no disrespect to others that have similar titles and responsibilities in other PBIDs, but we've had a chance to work together in the district I have the honor of representing in the River District. And what my takeaway is, based on your history of working in partnership with the county, is that instead of just kind of approaching it as a them versus us relative to specifically the homeless or unsheltered community, you're always looking for win-wins for both that population and the people that are paying the assessments and the businesses that are looking for a better environment in which to excel. So I think it's a template that I think should, quite frankly, kind of be the the starting place for a lot of our P-bids and other P-bids that in the future that may be started in other commercial corridors. That is to make, as part of your mission, not just the improvement of the surroundings and the businesses and the business environment, but for those that have the least among that constituency, for them to excel as well. And
Amen.
I think you've done a tremendous job in that respect. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate your kind words.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Hi, Dion.
Good afternoon. Dion Dwyer, Executive Director of the Art and Howe Business Alliance. The Art and Howe Business Alliance is your youngest PBID in the district, and I think your oldest director. Well, me and Chris, I think, fight for that title. But a little bit about our district is we cover more than 13.5 million square feet along the Oregon corridor. Our total budget is roughly $551,000. 80% of that budget is dedicated to clean and safe services. We have 254 parcels, as you can see, 163 owners and 434 businesses. So very tight district that handles the commercial corridor there in Arden. 72% of our assessed properties are commercial in nature. In the past year, our clean and safe teams have delivered strong results. Over 3,000 officer observations, 1,800 dispatch calls, and nearly 46,000 pounds of trash removed. Just shy of 200 graffiti incidences and 100 illegal dump sites cleared. We continue to face challenges common in many commercial corridors. Our homeless, retail theft, vandalism, and illegal dumping remain some of our top priorities. And we coordinate well with the county staff, whether it is the Sheriff's Office, our private security teams, District Attorney's Office, Economic Development Department, or Community Development Department. We utilize county staff, and we are very thankful of the support that we receive when we reach out. Despite ongoing pressures, we have several successes in 2025. We hosted our first Day of the Arden event. Many of you were there. We'll be doing it again this October. We expanded our corridor banner program. A lot of it is around branding, making sure that people understand who we are, where we are, and what we do. And we strengthened our retail theft collaboration with law enforcement. We actually held a Prop 36 press conference in the How About Arden Shopping Center, really trying to get that over the finish line. Of course, it wasn't much of a finish line. We had to get 70% of Californians supported that effort. So we're thankful again of the support and collaboration that we receive with law enforcement and our property owners. Looking ahead in 26 and 27, our priorities are clear. District renewal. It goes by fast. So the first time that you renew your property business improvement district, you can go out for 5 years, and then after that, you can go out up to 10 years on average. So we are starting our renewal process. One of the strengths of our district is our board represents about 35% of our assessment. So right off the bat, we feel that we have strong wind behind us, but we continue to try to reach out to our property and business owners and ensure that they know what our services are and what we can do to help them continue to receive a clean and safe district. We also are expanding lighting and cameras through SEPTED. You'll hear SEPTED a lot, but it is kind of the bread and butter of economic development from a clean and safe standpoint, ensuring that our property owners are working collectively with law enforcement and with basic just principles on how to maintain a property. And so we are partnering with the Sheriff's Office, with FUSIS, as well as other security teams to maintain a very clean and safe district along the Arden corridor. With that, I want to thank again the county staff, board's continued partnership, and we look forward to working with you, keeping the Arden corridor clean, economically viable, and we look forward to renewing in 2027 for a 10-year district is what we're working for.
All right. Thank you, Dion.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Madam Chair, could I?
Oh, Supervisor Desmond?
Thank you. Just briefly, Dion, I want to thank you and Michael for everything you're doing with this new PBID. You came out strong, and you've done an outstanding job just really creating a sense of identity and delivering the clean and safe services to the property owners. I think you're very fortunate because you have such strong engagement by a lot of property owners in your PBID. And it's also nice that the county is making a lot of investments along that corridor as well. Some of those investments are taking a little longer than we'd like to get completed, but they are going to be a huge benefit to the property owners along the corridor and the P-bid. So just appreciate your partnership, your continued partnership with my office and with all the other partners you work with.
Yeah, phase one streetscape on Arden Way. We're looking for phase two as well as undergrounding, but the investment from the private ownership as well as the county, we're making a difference over there. And I think when you drive down the district 4 years ago, when we took it over, you drive down the district today, it's impressive. It's exciting to be a part of, and we're happy to work collaboratively with the group.
And I'll just say one more thing, and I'll make some comments at the end after all the presentations, but it is, I think of Dave and Todd and the discussions we had about trying to get people to invest along some of these commercial corridors, maybe do office conversion projects for housing. It is a big deal when there's a P-bid that's this active and this successful. It really helps our larger county efforts to attract investment and more housing along these commercial corridors. So I just want to call that out as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dion. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Let's get started. I'm Samantha Beck. I serve as the Executive Director of the Carmichael Improvement District. Thank you so much for having us. I'm just going to dive right in. So, with our annual budget at approximately $584,000, most of our funding continues to support public safety and street maintenance, which remains foundational to all of the work that we do. So the CID, and here's just a few more details about us. We're huge. We're about 6.5 square miles. The CID covers 561 parcels, 374 property owners, and nearly 1,000 businesses along Carmichael's primary commercial corridors. And over the past year, let's see, and you can see most of this is in retail, office, and industrial. And over the past year, our security team has conducted more than 5,200 officer observations, responded to nearly 2,000 dispatch calls, and addressed hundreds of trespassing and safety concerns, and also assisted with high-level incidents in collaboration with the Sheriff's Department as well. Our maintenance team has removed more than 91,000 pounds of trash, or approximately 45 tons. They've also removed graffiti, hazardous and drug-related items, illegal dumping, and hundreds of abandoned shopping carts as well. These daily services are really the immediate and visible difference for our businesses, our property owners, our residents, and of course our visitors. And while clean and safe remains our largest investment, the CID is continuing to expand its work in placemaking, community engagement, and economic development. Like many commercial districts, Carmichael continues to see struggles with challenges in vacant and underutilized parcels and properties, aging commercial centers, and the need for a stronger and more cohesive identity. So at the same time, these challenges are really giving us the opportunity to create Carmichael into more of a visible space and ensuring our long-term economic vitality. So one of the most important accomplishments that we had was creating a stronger identity for Carmichael. We did this through overhauling and redesigning our website, and we also created new district banners. So these are just a few that we have, but we have 11 new designs. So if you want to come through Carmichael and check them out, you're welcome to see everything that we've got. And we are actually now developing additional wayfinding signage as well as a monument sculpture that will help us create more visible gateways into the district and strengthens Carmichael's identity and placemaking. We've also expanded our economic development work through an event that we created last year called Carmichael Connect. This is an event that brings together property owners, brokers, developers, investors, county partners, and other regional leaders to discuss current projects and the upcoming opportunities for Carmichael. This year's Carmichael Connect will be on October 7th, and we're featuring John Pappas. He's the president of Pappas Investments, and he'll be sharing the vision behind the redevelopment of the former Crestview Lanes property that's undergoing massive redevelopment right now, and that's going to be mixed use of residential, retail, and dining. So really what we want him to feature is talk about what he's dealt with as far as the development process, lessons learned, and the collaboration that was required to get the project done, so kind of a case study, so to speak. But we're also grateful for Supervisor Desmond, and it's great to see you. I'm so glad you're doing well. But we are going to have Supervisor Desmond as well as representatives from the county's Office of Economic Development to support and participate in the event as well. And really, the county will discuss the efforts to improve the development process, streamline permitting, and support investment. So it'll be a great event, our second one that we're holding. And then on September 17th, we've created a brand new event. It'll be a family-friendly community activation, and it was inspired by the idea of a progressive dinner. So the Carmichael Circuit, that we're calling this event, will invite residents to visit participating businesses throughout the district. They can enjoy family-friendly activities. There's going to be live music. We'll have special food and drink deals and special offers. And really the idea is to have our residents and visitors explore the district and also support local spending and spend within our district. So we really just want to introduce the community to businesses and destinations maybe they haven't been before, see them a little, maybe that thing you drive by every day, see it a little differently, and then also just create more of a sense of community connection and pride for Carmichael. So looking ahead, many of our goals are in, again, the wayfinding and monument sculpture projects that we have, as well as expanding our community events, and then continuing to build those relationships with brokers, developers, and those that are not just already investing in Carmichael, but want to invest in Carmichael. We have so many vacant and underused properties that we want to be utilizing and getting people out into these areas and rethinking, reimagining the way that they look at Carmichael. So again, at the CID, we're incredibly proud of the work that we've done over this year. We've undertaken quite a bit, but it couldn't have happened without our partnerships, and that's with all of you, Supervisor Desmond, the Office of Economic Development, the Sheriff's Department, the DA, and then of course really every department at Sacramento County that we've had to lean on this year. So I want to thank you all so much for allowing us to present, and I'm open to any questions you might have.
Supervisor Serna?
Thank you. And maybe my colleague Supervisor Desmond knows the answer to this question, but I noticed on one of the some of the banners, it said Carmichael since 1909. So is that when the census identified Carmichael as a place formally, since it's not incorporated? I'm just curious about that. Rich?
Are you asking me? Or, I don't know.
You're Mr. Carmichael, man.
Where's Susan Skinner when I need her?
I know.
I don't know. That may very well be Supervisor Serna. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Great question, and I can check with my board chair. She'll know all the answers to that.
Supervisor Desmond?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for indulging me and my board members. I have to, of course, talk to each of the directors, the PBIDs in District 3. I'm so proud of the work they do, and I try to be very careful in not showing favoritism towards any one PBID over another. But as Sam knows all too well, I live right on the edge of the CID, and much to her chagrin, because I end up calling her a lot about things that I see in the district. So, Sam, I apologize for that publicly. I know I've apologized to you many times in private about it. But one thing I want to call out about you and the Carmichael Improvement District is how much you're involved with the other organizations in Carmichael. Carmichael has a very, very strong sense of identity, from our park district to the Kiwanis to the local chamber, and the CID works directly hand in hand with those organizations to lift up the entire community, not just the corridor that the CID sits on. And the other thing, Sam, I would mention is that Carmichael Connecting was so wonderful. Really appreciate your initiative and bringing that to us. I know we had that follow-up conversation with economic development. I mean, it's such a great idea to bring in the brokers and highlight the properties that are available and bring in the county partners at the same time to talk about what opportunities are in those areas. And also when it comes to the vacant properties. So please, stay tuned. We have Mr. DeFonte, I don't know, when is code enforcement coming back to us to have that discussion about vacant and abandoned property registration?
August 11th.
August 11th.
At
so
2
Sam,
o'clock.
At 2 o'clock. So Sam and all the PBID directors, I hope you'll tune into that, because we're going to be having a discussion about a new initiative from code enforcement about how we deal with some of the blighted, abandoned vacant properties that you all experience in your respective P-bids. So hopefully you'll tune into that. But thank you for everything you do, Sam, and for your whole team over there at CID.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. And I took the 10 p.m. phone calls about the sideshows as a badge of honor, so thank you. I appreciate it.
One moment, Samantha.
Yeah, of course.
Mr. DePonte.
Yeah, Dave DeFonte, Deputy County Executive. I just wanted to tag on to what Supervisor Cerna said there. Obviously, we'll have the code workshop on August 11th, but one other initiative we're launching, I'm actually reviewing the final RFP today, is a joint effort between economic development and community development to look at all of the identified 15 commercial corridors across the county, which includes, I believe, all the P-bids, and looking at barriers to development and redevelopment of those vacant and blighted properties in particular. So that's something we have on the stakeholder list for that effort, all of our P-bid partners. But you'll see that RFP go out here hopefully within the next week. That is going to be a pretty massive effort that we're launching right now and really doubling down on trying to attract more investment into those corridors. So thought I'd just throw that out there as well.
That's great.
Oh, and one thing about Carmichael Connect, we really want to make sure that we are giving the county a platform to show that there is things are being put into action to expedite these things to meet developers where they're at. It's not just stagnant, things are happening. So we want to make sure we highlight that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Samantha.
Thanks.
Round two. All right. Dion Dwyer, and I'm representing actually the interim director of the Florin Road Partnership. So I want to walk you through a little bit of what we're doing down on Florin Road right now. Supervisor Kennedy, I hope he is watching from Ireland as we go through this. All right, a little highlights for us. We are cover nearly 26 million square feet. Annual budget of $614,000. Of that budget, we have about 54 cents on every dollar that goes towards clean and safe, and 18% to marketing. We have 329 parcels. Of that, 215 property owners and more than 500 businesses. About 91% of the assessed area is commercial properties. Over the last year, some of the services, 12,000 officer observations, 2,500 dispatch calls, more than 6,300 public relation visits, and 115,000 pounds of trash removed, along with the hazardous items that we talked about earlier, shopping carts, tires, things along those lines. In 2025, we faced several challenges, including transition to a new maintenance team, security providers in April. We continue to see ongoing public safety concerns, theft, loitering, illegal dumping. These issues, of course, we're coordinating with our public safety partners. During 2026, we've been making progress, strengthening relationships with county departments, enforcement agencies, seeing greater openness from property and business owners for clean and safe services, and providing direct support to businesses throughout the Business Navigator program. Looking ahead for 26 and 27, our priorities right now are hiring an executive director. So we have had a job search ongoing. We have our first round of interviews coming up. We've been working with our board on that. Also expanding our marketing communications with business owners and advancing the P-bid renewal process. So again, this P-bid is going through renewal. It expires in 2027. We met with our renewal committee today. It looks like our boundaries are going to stay the same, but we're working with our business owners to ensure that they're getting the value that they need out of the P-bid. So we're redrafting our management district plan as we speak. That's all I have for Florin Road. I'm open to questions.
No questions in the queue. Thank you, Dion.
All right. Thank you, folks. Last time you see me today, promise.
Hello. Good afternoon. I am Melinda Michael, Executive Director of the Fulton Avenue Association, the business district on Fulton between Arden Way and the Cap City Freeway, Auburn Boulevard. Thank you. I appreciate that. I even have heels on. First, I'd like to say congratulations to my colleagues. I think this last year has been a challenge for all of us, and everyone's just doing a terrific job, and we gel together. So I think that's really important as we move forward in our separate fiefdoms, which is really just all part of unincorporated Sacramento County. Our annual assessment is, Our annual assessment is actually $474,000. This year we are including a 3% increase. This is the first time since 1998, our inception, that we have increased our assessment midterm. We've had 5 successful renewals, and we fully expect to have a 6th. Our owners are very careful with their money. A lot of them are 2nd, 3rd, 4th generation owners. And while that is a good thing for historical purposes and all of that, it can get tricky when we go through renewal. Most of our budget is spent on clean and safe programs. We have SPS Security doing our patrols. We're very happy with them. And we have Hillary Gould doing our district maintenance. Our day team is Pam and Miguel. They are a couple, and they are a team. And they've gotten to know our owners well. They exchange pleasantries, and Pam and Miguel do a great job. So I want to put my congratulations out to them, my thanks out to them. We are an auto-centric district. Our history shows that. Our current day shows that. We used to be Miracle Mile back in the 60s. It's where if you wanted to buy a car from, San Francisco to Reno, you would come to Fulton Avenue to look at the car variety and pick up your new one. Over the time, though, we have a growing number of really excellent and eclectic restaurants. So you throw that in with your smog shop across the street or your dealership next door, and actually it works pretty well because as people take their vehicles to get repaired or inspected or what have you, they can walk down the street and have something to eat. We are also blessed to have Sacramento County Department of Human Assistance in our district, right next to my office. As you might imagine, it's a very busy place. And I got to thank the county for keeping things in order there. There have been times when I think that's been difficult, but we're grateful to have them in our district and serving the folks that need it most. We have the Art and Arcade Library. We continue to befriend them and work with them and keep those that go and use the library safe. We have Sac Metro Fire 101. I can't say enough about our first responders. They are at the ready. They are the best of the best, in my opinion. They are always anxious to be involved in our events. They're very community-minded. They're willing to drive our supervisor to our tree lighting and alongside Santa and do fun things like that. And we really enjoy our relationship with them. Historic Town and Country Village, one of the oldest shopping centers in the country, 1944. And it still looks and feels a little bit like it did, but it has changed quite a bit over the years. I would say that our dispatch calls are pretty much on the money here, although I think it looks low. The security company is a 24-hour dispatch, and I know for a fact that they do receive several calls after hours. And for us, that's important. We have businesses that close at 5 o'clock. We have businesses that close at 8. We have businesses that close at 10. And a lot of mischief happens after 10 and before 8 or 9 in the morning the following day. So that's the most important element to us, that and the boots on the ground. I do want to thank Officer Figueroa, Sikansky, and Wright. They are our 3 guys. They know what they're doing. And they do everything they can on a daily basis to keep us rid of circumstances that are unpleasant. Challenges and opportunities. No question, the unhoused impacts our district quite a bit. As I mentioned earlier, our businesses open and close at different times. And we have, if you've driven through our district, we have a lot of deep lots. There's quite a lot of landscaping. Some of the properties butt up against neighborhoods. And it's different than your average commercial corridor. So knowing the nooks and crannies, knowing where people like to hide, knowing where they like to set up until we find them is important. And, I wish I had more complimentary things to say about the unhoused that we deal with on a daily basis. I think the majority of our unhoused and our problems that exist on Fulton Avenue and in the district are due to drug use. We've got same people doubled over on the corner at Marconi and Fulton. The next day they're at Arden Way. The next day they're face first on the sidewalk. We've got their names, we've got their ex-refs, their rap sheets, but yet they're still able to get drugs on the street. In my opinion, we're not going to see an improvement in the unhoused crisis until there is something done about the drug dealers on the streets. Our trash and illegal dumping has kind of subsided a bit. We have that under control. We have wheel and tire centers all over our district, and we also have businesses that were victim of illegal dumping, installed security cameras. So if anything, it's a deterrent. We have cultural and community dynamics. As I mentioned, the Department of Human Assistance is right there, smack in the center of our district, and we have an influx of populations that are starting anew. And starting anew means navigating your neighborhood, navigating how you do things, and all of those things. And I feel we are as welcome as possible to all of that. But there are challenges. We've got a couple of mosques, kind of makeshift mosques in our district. And on prayer day, on Friday, around 1 o'clock, things get a little crazy. Come 2:10, it goes away. But we're adjusting. We're trying to figure out ways to accommodate everyone, including, the customers, the 40,000 folks that drive up and down Fulton every day. Successes. As I mentioned earlier, we've successfully renewed 5 times at a 5-year term. Again, our property owners are conservative, so they balk at the 10-year. They balk at a significant increase in their assessment. So we do what we can with the money that we have, and we do appreciate any and all assistance when it's available. We have created 2 signature events. Cruise Fest on Fulton Avenue. This is Cruise Fest 15 this year. It'll be Saturday, September 12th, and from 3 to 7. It's the largest car cruise in Northern California. It's a short cruise track, but it's the most cars. So we have up to 400 cars, all makes and models. People come from all over to be part of the cruise, and people come from all over just to see the cars. So I would say it's probably the largest community event in District 3, and something that we want to keep going, something that we want to grow in different ways. We can't outgrow, we don't want to outgrow our space, because we shut down Fulton Avenue between El Camino and Marconi. So hope to see you there. Our other signature event is our holiday tree lighting. We followed Old Sacramento in doing the first tree lighting. They were our mentor. And in fact, I had the 3 kings that put that whole old Sacramento tree lighting together, mentor me and how to do it. And we are at 21 years now. We did purchase our own sequoia and planted it in the parking lot of the Department of Human Assistance, 2700. We call it the Tree of Grace, and we celebrate her every day, but the first Saturday of December we have our annual tree lighting. It is free to the community, as is Cruise Fest, by the way, and we have free food, beverages, entertainment, and of course the lighting of the tree. And the tree stands bright. It's a nearly 50-foot sequoia now, and it stands bright lit until January 3rd. Goals for 26-20, oopsie, sorry. Oh, sorry. Goals for 26-27. We have a number of in-street monuments that we paid for back in the beginning, large kind of rancho-style monuments, and they are in our center medians. We have 13 medians. We have 2 monuments. Both have been hit by cars. You can imagine the number of cars that go in both directions during the day and the evening. Both were hit at night, of course. One of the drivers got away. The other one passed away. So our goal is to get those repaired and looking shiny bright again. Not only repaired, but lit. The top section is lit. Expand our community impact engagement. We are creating a 501c3. It's a very slow process. We are in the waiting period now. Enhance communication and visibility. You know, I believe today that social media and social marketing and all of those things that are done online, it's a one-person job, and I haven't found the right person to help us out with that. So we kind of learn as we go, and hope to improve more this year. Special thanks, please, to Supervisor Desmond, our champion and friend. Always nice to see you. I'm so very sorry about what happened to you. We all are. All our best wishes to you as you recover from your awful accident. Your staff, Vanessa and Iris, just always so responsive and sweet and kind and helpful. Crystal, thanks so much. Crystal Bethke, Economic Development, you've been super helpful to us, especially this last year in working with Community Strong Strategies to get us really focused on some things that we needed to get focused on. Lindsay Fukushima, she is our county representative on our board. Lindsay has great ideas. She's terrific at carrying back what we talk about at our board meetings to the county and getting things moving. And I greatly appreciate that. Chad Rindy, thank you so much for addressing a policy that we found not a good one earlier this year, and trying to figure out how to make sure that doesn't happen again. So Supervisor Cerna, I said goodbye to you last year, and you made it very clear that you would be here this year, but then you would be taking off. So I too want to thank you for everything you've done for Sacramento County and the city. And still waiting for your band to play at Cruise Fest.
We'll see about that. I might have some more time available. So.
Okay. Well, thank you again for everything you've done. Are there any questions?
I don't have any questions, but it sounds like you have a really good plan going forward.
Got a good plan.
Yeah. Supervisor Desmond?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Melinda, thank you. First of all, thank you for your very kind words. And I tell you, quiche is something that's really well known as having a lot of restorative qualities, and I'm getting a lot of it lately. So thank you for that, your generosity as well. A question for you, Melinda. Is Fulton Avenue, that's not the oldest P-bit in the county, is it? It's the second oldest P-bit in the county?
You know, I think Florin was a few months before us.
Oh, okay. But it's one of the oldest. I mean, you're.
Oh, absolutely. No, well, you know, Florin's a hybrid, so we definitely are the first PBID that was formed as unincorporated Sacramento County, yes.
Exclusively unincorporated. Okay.
Correct, in 1998.
Well, I thank you for your certainly your tenure, which is invaluable for the property owners that you represent, and thank you for calling out some of these challenges you faced in the last year, and for recognizing the partnership you have with so many different county departments, because I think that's really crucial, and for calling out the challenges you face with the homeless population. I think you're right. I mean, if you drive down Fulton, you may not see a lot of these challenges that are in the backside of properties and are causing problems for your property owners. But one thing about you, I know, Melinda, you're a steadfast advocate for the property owners, but you're also a steadfast advocate for people who are homeless in the community as well, in your role with Arden Arcade Heart. So, I appreciate that. And sometimes, we get it from you from both sides, and that's good. That's a way it should be. But I have enjoyed participating in Cruise Fest and the Christmas tree lighting. Maybe Supervisor Cerna wants to ride with me this year in Cruise Fest. Just throwing that out there if he's available. Because I think you'll get a pretty cool car for us, I hope.
It's an open invitation for any of you.
Okay.
Absolutely. If you would like to ride along in the cruise, I will set you up with the car of your dreams.
It's a fun event. It's a fun event. And unlike Carmichael, in a way, I talked to Sam a little bit about how there's so many strong organizations. There are some wonderful organizations right there in Arden Arcade, but the Fulton Avenue Association and the events you do are some of the biggest events and only events in that part of the county. And you're spot on when you talk about kind of the diversity there. I mean, that's really ground zero for our very large Afghan refugee population.
Yes, it is.
And sometimes the wonderful opportunities, but sometimes the challenges that brings as well. You're right in the middle of it. So I certainly appreciate that. And I hope you don't ever hesitate to reach out to me or my office if I can ever help you with any of the property owners who may need more convincing about the importance of re-upping with the PBID and supporting the PBID, because it is so crucial in along that Fulton Avenue.
Well, next year is prep year, and we renew again in 28.
Okay.
So thank
I'll be
you.
here for you.
Thank you for always being helpful.
Thanks, Melinda.
Okay.
Thank you, Melinda.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much to our executive directors for their time today. And also, I just want to say that I appreciate their partnership along with Community Strong Strategies and Econ Dev. It's a good team. So at this time, staff would like to recommend the approval of the annual reports and resolutions to authorize the levy of assessments for FY 2026-27.
All right, thank you, Vanessa. Supervisor Desmond?
Madam Chair, I'm happy to move approval of staff recommendation. And if you wouldn't mind just indulging me just for one more moment here, I want to thank Vanessa, special districts. I want to thank a lot of the same people that Melinda just thanked. I mean, economic development, code enforcement, waste management, recycling. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know if it's ironic or counterintuitive that, some of these PBIDs were formed as kind of a hedge because our large local government wasn't always providing the level of services that the property owners wanted in these areas. But they're successful by and large because of the partnership and the support they're getting from the county. And the county departments are doing a great job, I think, supporting the PBIDs. We need to continue doing that. I don't know if Emily Halcon is in the audience. I'm sure Siobhan is there. But one thing I did want to mention, obviously all of the PBIDs are dealing with issues relating to homelessness. And I just don't know what level of connection each of the PBID directors has with our COHIWO navigators. And so either Siobhan or Emily, if you're out there, I'd like to follow up with that and make sure we help broker those connections and building better relationships between the PBIDs and the COHIWO navigators so they can really maximize the resource they have out there with our navigators that we fund. And then also finally, I want to bring up a few people referenced the Community Strong Strategies work with the PBIDs. They have done an outstanding job. Tracy and Tracy Shaw and Richard Dana and their team. And I believe that was funded with was that with ARPA money or was that econ development money? Can someone?
ARPA funding.
It was ARPA funding. That was a great opportunity we had. And I think that's been beneficial to all the PBIDs and again, demonstrates the county's support for the amazing work they do. So thank you.
Don't forget your own staff, Rich.
Oh, and my own staff is, of course, they're wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Cerna. I couldn't do it without him. I couldn't do anything without him.
All right, we have a motion.
I'll second it.
And then are there any requests to speak on this item?
Anyone online that would like to address the supervisors for item 48 on our agenda, the annual reports for the listed PBIDs, please raise your hand now. We have no request to speak online and no request in chambers.
All right, let's do a roll call vote.
And the second was Hume. Thank you. Supervisor Cerna.
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond.
Aye.
Vice Chair Hume.
Aye.
And Chair Rodriguez.
Aye.
Item 48 passes 4-0 with Supervisor Kennedy absent.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for the presentations. Next item, please.
The next item on our agenda is item 49, County Executive Comments.
Thank you, Todd. Good afternoon, supervisors. Just wanted to take a minute. I mentioned this once before to you that we've started a brief video series, if you will, created by the Public Information Department. The video series is called The Board Report, and it's a short recap of what the top agenda items are and interests for both the residents and reporters out there. The goal of the video is really to just show what is important to the residents and what the board is doing, and to share. Nowadays, the folks out there, some folks like very short videos and their attention span's a little less, so we're trying to meet that demand. The TikTok age, the Facebook, the YouTube short videos. So we wanted to share that with you, and you're welcome to attach it to any of your social media and get the word out. We had the Youth Commission here earlier, and we talked about getting the youth involved. So not to stereotype the youth that they don't have a long attention span, but as a parent of a couple of youths, I do believe they have a shorter attention span for us. So, but I just wanted to play this real quick and thank Macy for the work that she did and on this particular one. So this is from July, following the July 14th meeting.
They also have a great video creation capabilities.
Hey, my name's Macy. I'm a Senior Public Information Officer with Sacramento County, and I'm here with a quick video recap of your most recent Board of Supervisors meeting, which took place on July 14th. So this is the first in a video series we'll be doing where we'll take a look after each board meeting at some important items. Let's go ahead and jump right in and take a quick look at some of those key action items. First off, the board reconsidered the 2026-2027 recommended budget. And the reason for this is because Supervisor Pat Hume asked at the June 16th board meeting for the board to reconsider funding the problem-oriented policing, or POP as we'll be calling it, and the Sheriff's Office. The board approved the $3.4 million item from the general fund contingency balance, and POP is now fully restored. The board also approved formal implementation for the expansion of the county's residential development impact fee deferral program to all residential projects. So what this means is that upfront development costs are being reduced to support the construction of new housing throughout the county. This action aligns with Senate Bill 937. That's a state law that supports housing development by allowing local governments to defer these fees and encourage new housing construction. The board's action extends these fee deferrals to eligible mixed-use projects that include residential units. The board also officially accepted the Registrar of Voters' certified results of the June 2nd statewide direct primary election. And this is important because it confirms that every eligible ballot has been counted and the results are now verified. And congratulations to Supervisors Patrick Kennedy and Pat Hume for their re-election to the County Board of Supervisors. Thank you so much for joining us. You can find the complete agenda, staff reports, and meeting recordings on the Sacramento County website, and we hope we can see you again after the next Board of Supervisors meeting. Have a great day.
Thank you, supervisors. And as I said earlier, these will follow the meetings, so the next one will be out tomorrow afternoon.
It's a great video. Supervisor Hume?
Thank you, Chair. Just curious, how does one access those videos?
We will send you a copy, but it's definitely on our social media. It's on our YouTube page and our Facebook page, and I think we had an alert that went out also on that.
Great.
Supervisor Desmond?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Great content, and it's very helpful to all of us, I think, as we try to push information out about the county to our constituents. I know we have always struggled mightily at in county land to try to help people better understand what we do. And these kinds of productions, these kinds of resources, I think are really crucial. So thank you, David, and thank you to everybody who's involved in producing these.
Okay. I actually have two board requests. The first one is I'd like to request that the county exec bring back an item for board discussion regarding the legislative advocacy policy and governance protocols. A couple of weeks ago, I spent a considerable amount of time trying to understand the process. I'm very clear on the legislative advocacy on behalf of Sacramento County when a board has adopted an official position. I also am very clear on the legislative platform and their intergovernmental relations and legislative advocacy policy. That's such a long title. And the county's advocacy position to delegate authority. Clear on all that. However, what is not established is determining how board members are selected to participate in legislative advocacy efforts in support of those adopted positions. So I request that the county exec return with a proposed policy or recommended revisions to our existing legislative advocacy policies for the board's consideration. And my request is about ensuring that the governance framework is applied equally to all members of the board. Some of the considerations that I request is the respective roles of the board, the chair, the vice chair, county exec, governmental relations officer, and our legislative advocates in legislative communication. The process for determining which board members participate in meetings with legislative regarding official board position. The use of county staff resources to support legislative advocacy initiated by individual supervisors. Protocols for legislative correspondence and proposed amendments submitted on behalf of the county. And communication expectations with the full board when time-sensitive legislative matters arise. And so my goal is for our board and for future boards to ensure that the process is clear before issues arise. And then the second one is, in our agenda packets, I cannot distinguish between general fund and enterprise fund. And so is there a way that when something is a part of the general fund to just put GF next to, for example, today's item, there were two different funds that were technically general fund, but the names to me when I first read them, I just took them as, oh, those are part of enterprise funds. So if we can get that added, that would be
So
great.
on every board letter, there is a financial impact, and for the most part, unless there's some exceptions, it includes the general fund. On that particular one, I think it's that's the fund that it comes out of, the liability funds, but we'll look at the financial portion of it and make sure that there is very clear and make sure they're all covered.
Just for a distinction, because when I read the packet, I just assumed it was enterprise funds, but then when we came and had a conversation here, and Supervisor Cerna had raised the question about the general fund, then to me it was like, oh, I totally did not see that. So if we can get clarity. Okay. But I'll check, because I don't recall seeing it on the financial statement, but maybe I just missed that portion of it.
Okay.
All right, Supervisor Desmond.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one thing real quick for me. I heard from a board member from the Sac Suburban Water District requesting our Board of Supervisors to select a director to serve until the November election. Apparently, one of their members of their board at Sac Suburban retired several months ago, and then another director unfortunately passed away. So they're left with three directors, and I guess they have some crucial decisions, and they cannot come to an agreement because obviously if one person disagrees, that's a challenge. So I know our county exec, I think, is in touch with the GM over there, but I would ask that be brought back to us at the next meeting to appoint somebody to serve in one of those positions until the November election.
Can I answer to that? Because I got a call about that too. And when I did research, Sac Suburban is a separate entity that picks their board members amongst themselves, and the Board of Supervisors does not have a say or cannot appoint. So if we can get clarity, because
I think we have clarity, and maybe Lisa was looking at it also, but I understand if that decision cannot be made by that body, then it might come to the county.
Correct. That's my understanding.
That's correct. If the district board does not appoint a member within the required statutory timeframe, which is 60 days, the Board of Supervisors then steps in to either call an election or appoint a board member within 61 to 90 days. And in this case, the November election date has passed, so it will just have to be appointment for the rest of the term.
Okay.
And they will have to actually do them two separate board meetings because the statutory timeframe has not passed for the second vacancy.
Got it. Okay, good.
And the first vacancy expired on July 17th.
Lisa, was that your comment? Okay, very good. All right, with that, there are no other comments, and we will adjourn at 3:28.